Hello there, Alucard Ancient Fair Tempest here, and this is a collection, volume of whatever happened to the Golden Age of role-playing games. So, Golden Age of role-playing games refers to the 1990s and the early 2000s, in which your role-playing games involved extensive character customization and choices combined with consequences. There's also extensive world building in these games for the Golden Age, in which your character has actions where their choices and their actions affect the outcome of the overall world, ranging from local areas to the greater world as a whole. So in this series of episodes in this first volume, we're going to be talking about space role-playing games, because actually, as I'm going to reveal to you, the earliest games in this Golden Age actually involved space with RPG elements, where you made decisions and worked a strategy in space, including escape velocity and star control too. Following that, we're going to be talking about the sword and sorcery. So we're going to have more fantasy-based ones from Interplay, such as Baldur's Gate and a few others, as well as the early part of the Elder Scrolls games by Bethesda. Final one, we'll be talking about Fallout and Beneath the Steel Sky, as those are these post-apocalyptic role-play games that should be pretty interesting. So there's going to be little transitions between these episodes, and I hope you enjoyed this volume of this wonderful review on role-playing games. And there are chapters in this video so you can navigate around the different episodes and topics within each episode. Enjoy the show. That's fine. Oh, that's fine. All right, so this is the newest episode of Whatever Happened to the Game. We'll have links to my invite link for those who are guests who are brave enough to come here and get part in the chat. It'll be here. Just 1 minute. It's going to be right here. So, there we go. But this is the live stream for Whatever Happened to the Game. It's going to be talking about the final frontier for the Golden Age of role-playing games. So this is some demo footage of, as it were, Escape Velocity Classic. It's one of the games we're going to be talking about today. Now the music is not here. The actual music in the game is copyright protected. So I'm using my own background music for this. So this is a space trading simulation and role-playing game. And it's rather so as you're going into this, it's role-playing games. Also Star Control 2, and I have links in the description here to the actual, as it were, the actual games where you can buy them on GOG.com, or where you can go and get them on open source, because some of these games are actually what you call dead. They're defunct. So you need to find open source versions of the game because they aren't for sale. They're dead. The company that made them is gone. And so the open source has distinctions from the original to not be a copyright violation or infringement, but that's where they are. So as we're getting ready, it's about 5 minutes till. But this is the game of Escape Velocity, and it's one of those games where it's not all that fun to play on your own, but it is a role-playing game, and it's part of the role-playing game culture from way back when, where you as a character, you can customize your character, customize the name, make decisions, and you lived in a world that is affected as consequences to your decisions, your character's reputation, and so on. I'll be going over the other games from that time period, such as Fallout, Baldur's Gate, and so on, which will be pretty fun. I'll be going over RPGs, and then I'm going back to the Castlevania topics for October, leading up to Halloween, and I'm hopefully going to be giving you a little short review. It's not going to be an hour-long video. It'll be more in length to my other relatively longer videos, or rather essays in some cases, where I talked about things such as Tomato in the Mirror, Castlevania, and explaining how mistaken or ignorance of their own identity plays a role in the Castlevania game series. So I'm going to be talking about that, and otherwise it's going to be pretty fun, and it'll be interesting. There's this huge anniversary coming up for Curse of Darkness, which turns 20 years old on November 1st, 2025. It was released originally on that date, which is November 1st, Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, or if you're Catholic, the holiday is All Saints Day on November 1st as well. I won't be here to watch over the premiere. It's my mother's birthday that day, so her birthday happens to be on the Day of the Saints. Who would know? Who would have thought? But so I'll be over with her, celebrating her birthday while this is premiering on the anniversary. But otherwise, it's going to be a pretty interesting week before I officially start this live stream. So this is a little bit as we're getting ready for the live stream. This is from Atari. Star Control 2, the ur-quan Masters. Now you can get Star Control 2 and Star Control 1 and Star Control 3, which are for PC and 3DO consoles. You can get them all over on GOG.com, or I also have a link to the open source. The open source version of the game is great because, well, you can mod it and play other things with other skins or games using the Star Control engine. Star Control is great, although it and Escape Velocity have their contrasting gameplay mechanics. regarding the games. So, overall, I'm going to do a few more checks on audio. And yes. So, it's going to be starting. And I'm going to be counting down soon. So soon. So, getting ready. Going to the countdown. All right, so space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Star. Wait, okay, no. Starship Enterprise was, but that was the opening from Star Trek, and Star Trek as a franchise had a huge inspiration for these space RPGs, such as Escape Velocity or Star Control that came later. Huge inspiration in the idea that you would explore, seek out new civilizations, discover new life, and boldly go where no human has ever gone before. Exploration emphasis. So that's what these games do. They're a little different, but today we're going to talk about the golden age of role-playing games. Now, the golden age of actual role-playing games is during the 90s and the early 2000s. What sets this aside as a gameplay, while your enjoyment of games is subjective, that's the fact, but what objectively happened during this golden age of role-playing games is that role-playing games became heavily about you can customize your character, you can customize their name, you can customize how they appear, you can customize everything there, almost everything about them, age and so on. And not only could you customize your character, but the game and the plot of the game would proceed based on consequences for your actions and decisions that you have made as the player in the game. Another big influence, as we'll find out later, was also the Dungeons and Dragons in terms of dice rolling mechanics for random number generation, and also, of course, in this case, Star Trek and to an extent Star Wars were an inspiration heavily on how you created these role-playing games set in outer space. Welcome, Albelio. I was getting started with this episode today. You're right on time. Your mic might need to turn the mic a little up a little higher. So yeah, the news for today is that Netflix and Paramount are offering to buy Warner Brothers, not Discovery Channel, but Warner Brothers Entertainment.
How's that? Better?
Oh, much better.
Okay, good.
But yeah, Netflix and Paramount have made offers or bids to buy out Warner Brothers Entertainment, except for Discovery Channel. That stays separate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Warner Brothers hasn't exactly had the greatest time. They had a lot of debt back in 2017, which is when AT&T, the communication giant, bought them out. And now it's being offered by Paramount. Of course, you go good old Paramount, CBS, and Star Trek, and Nickelodeon. That Paramount is offering to buy them, and also Netflix has put in their bids. We'll see if these bids go through and who wins the bidding war. But I think there's pros and cons to either one buying out Warner Brothers Entertainment. For Netflix, that would mean that they now have certain IPs aside from their original content. It would mean Netflix can now essentially absorb HBO Max and its one streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts Netflix closer to what they used to be, where essentially people paid them to stream. Amazon will obviously still be separate with MGM, and Disney will still have Disney Plus, but it will just make Netflix. If Netflix wins, that puts them a bit closer. And Paramount, they've had some really rough results recently, but they've had some okay results, and it would just mean they have DC Comics characters on top of the fact that Paramount owns Nickelodeon. Paramount owns CBS, so there would be issues there because part of the Warner Brothers deal is that Warner Brothers owns CNN, and there's also CBS News. So, is that owning a little too much in the way of news media? I don't know.
Well, so long as they don't own all of it, technically, it's not a big problem, I think. However, I don't like that it's the same people that own CNN and MSN and CBS.
Yeah. I just don't know.
There's already enough propaganda and all kinds of shit. And
I mean, remember Disney bought out 20th Century Fox, but Fox News Channel stayed separate as part of that deal. So I don't know. Would Paramount do the same thing where they just say, "Oh, we just don't get CNN"? I don't know.
I don't know, because the way everything's going right now, the big factor I think is actually USAID being removed, and because of this, it's hard to tell who's going to go where, because MSNBC had to rebrand themselves. It was like MSN Now or something,
right?
Because their biggest financial donor, USAID, has been removed from the table. So,
and on the other hand, if Netflix does it, then they probably just give a little life support to CNN, and Netflix doesn't own news yet. Doesn't own news yet, but it would change it so now they do. If Netflix gets CNN and they win the bidding wars. So I mean, it would be less, but it would still be Netflix owning quite a lot if they get the Warner Brothers catalog, even without the Discovery Channel. So it DC Comics characters, fine. Looney Tunes, Harry Potter, and television rights for CNN. That's the main package that Netflix and Paramount so far are competing to outbid the other on.
Okay. Well,
and the other thing is they might just do reboots for some of the IPs at Warner Brothers if someone acquires them, whether it's no matter what. If it's CNN, if it's not CNN, but if it's Paramount or Netflix, either way, it might be a reboot one way or another.
Well, either which way, I still don't necessarily trust it, because they haven't really done much in the way of changing how they're pushing things in the Batman 2 or the Harry Potter series. So,
they covered the main Harry Potter books, right? They went through all 7 of those, and apparently they then just worked on prequels. That's what Fantastic Beasts is a prequel, right? I only really read the
as
main
far as
one,
I know,
Harry.
the Harry Potter series is supposed to be the entire book series, the mainline 7.
Okay.
But they're going through and making a ton of changes that a lot of people are very unhappy with,
I don't know.
Because they did the race swap thing with Snape, and that came crashing down on them. I think a number of the people are supposedly rabidly anti-Trump, which probably is going to change how the entire series is going to be written. And then I think they said it was Dumbledore was cast, but they didn't want to reveal who it was.
Oh, but then they said it was John Lithgow. I mean, that's fine. He's old too, like Dumbledore, but
yeah. So we'll we'll see. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see how it goes.
I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of not interested in a remake at the point when it's been what? I mean, Lord of the Rings movies were 20 years ago. They were one of the things that were early cases of film being released to DVD. And I have the whole Lord of the Rings extended editions. Basically what Peter Jackson wanted in those movies. So I'm sitting there with the DVD collection. It's like, why would I want to watch Lord of the Rings based on the 3 main novels when I have a video adaptation right at home? I can pop into the player when I want to.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was 20 years ago, it's decent for the quality you get for what you're watching. So I don't know. I just don't know. I think that something new needs to come at some point.
Yeah, they're just gonna try to double down on a franchise they know is extraordinarily popular with millennials at this point because they have nothing else to reference. Every time they try and do any sort of major series, and I say they broadly, I mean Hollywood in general, we are still in an age where people are not making new content. They're just regurgitating the same content with their political spins. Rings of Power, but Alien Earth. Over a technically Mexican stream, they're constantly complaining about Wheel of Time, which apparently got butchered too. Like, it's nonstop, and they're only doing this because this is like the propaganda is the goal, but they're also trying to make money at the same time. It clashes with like the ideas clash, which is crazy because if they just took a chance on something small, and we've seen that movies and shows with smaller budgets but well executed can become extremely popular, but they're not good. I don't know why that isn't the business practice.
I mean, there was a perfect storm, in the 1980s because there were a lot of things that had just bombed. There are a lot of movies that bombed in the 80s, but then there were those cases of lightning in a bottle, such as Back to the Future or another 80s one. I mean, Back to the Future. I mean, Star Wars, I guess you'd say just about the 80s. It's 77 for the first one, but it was taking a chance at something new. And even George Lucas thought it was going to bomb, and Fox as well thought it was going to bomb until it didn't.
Alien took a hell of a chance too.
Oh, yes, it did. But at this point, these things they're not new anymore. They're not as novel as they used to be, and they've reached this point where they're becoming redundant in terms of what they're trying to tell in the story. And if you know what I mean by redundant, like,
yeah, sure. I don't know, like I think we're going to be. I called it forever ago. At this point, when Trump got elected and everything, I do not believe that we're going to get out of this mire for a long time until the people in Hollywood and running these companies actually shift not only their own perspectives, but maybe change, maybe just get swapped out in general with individuals who actually want to take those risks, who are willing to, okay, here's a small budget, something that if it fails, we can recoup the money at a later time, build up a couple successes, and then try to put something a little higher. Not even like crazy high. I'm talking like 30 to 50, maybe 60 million at most for a movie.
certainly.
And give it a valid chance, I mean, Alien Romulus, as terrible as it was, had something like 60 or 80 million, something like that, for a budget, like production budget. So
that's good for a budget or something, given what it was. I mean, generally speaking, R-rated content, you anticipate a smaller audience because it's rated R in the first place.
Sure, but it's the first Alien movie in however many years since Covenant, and nobody likes Covenant.
Oh, yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
so
Covenant had a lot of just disappointing things where you thought something was going to go somewhere in there, but they just concluded it before you even started. Like, okay, what happened to Shaw? Well, you just see her dead, like alien. Uh, I don't know what happened. What the hell happened to her? She got, I guess you'd call it assimilated, or
yeah,
assimilated
whatever you want
dead body. Yeah, and then they killed all the so-called engineers before the movie even started. So it's like, really, talk about premature conclusions there.
to. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, regardless,
I mean, sometimes you want to entertain. You play it like a child's birthday present. You build up suspense, and when they finally see it, wow, that's great. That's great. You got it for me. But it's as if people forgot how suspense and building up anticipation works.
mm-hmm. Regardless, the main question, I don't, I don't think it's really going to change much. If if um, if Warner Bros. Is bought out, we know that Netflix is particularly uh, woke minded. So unfortunately, it like they wouldn't change; they would stay on their present course. Paramount, I haven't seen really anything from them, so I couldn't like fairly state. But beyond that, nothing's really going to change. Like
So
it's all about trying to keep everything.
Paramount still has Paramount still has um, the rights to Transformers movies. They still have Nickelodeon, so anything based off a Nickelodeon TV show, if they wanted to make like a live action Hey Arnold, which is dumb, but they could do it, they could do that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that's Paramount right now. So, and of course Sonic movies, Sonic the Hedgehog movies. So that's what Paramount has.
Oh
So,
yeah, and
I
yeah, I'm
mean,
not.
it would mean that multiple, say multiple video game properties. 'Cause Warner Brothers does have the rights for live action Pokemon movies like Detective Pikachu. So I guess now Sonic and Pokemon are the same publishers.
Mhm. Yeah, well, I don't see really much of anything changing. Everything's still going to continue to go downhill. The Harry Potter series is probably going to suck. Batman 2 Batman 2 is already in a little bit of hot water because the guy who was Commissioner Gordon is complaining that people complained he's complaining now about people complaining now about him being black when he was almost universally one of the few things that people defended.
Yeah, I mean it was interesting because well, the Batman I watched it, I felt it was okay. It was just basically
Yeah.
starting when he's already been Batman for a while, which is
Mm-hmm.
fine. I just don't feel like it always has to be an origin story. I mean, even the animated Batman television series with Kevin Conroy voicing him had flashbacks about his origin, but he was already established when it started. So I don't know. Yeah, this is probably the biggest, hottest thing I saw, and I was just like, yeah, I just don't feel consolidation is a good thing. Something's gonna there has to be something new eventually, and it will happen. It's just a question of how long is it going to take before they try to take a risk again. I prefer sooner rather than later, but even I can't tell you. So, but without getting lost, I'm going to talk about what the golden age of role playing games is. So it starts
Mm-hmm.
around early 90s through the 2000s, so it's about a decade long. But the main idea is that it was the role playing games they made for PC, with obvious heavy inspiration from Dungeons and Dragons, by the way, was that you could make a very customizable character to start off with. You could customize what your character's backstory is. Fine. You could customize what your character's species is. In the case of Baldur's Gate, your character's portrait, your name, your age, and not only could you customize the character, but you had decisions and consequences as a character that played out for your character in terms of their reputation and the world at large. So that's what made it there, because you're playing as a character, you're playing through that character's decisions in the game, and it plays out, whether it's for your character or the world or the larger world that your character is involved in as a part of. So I have here the power armor suit from the original Fallout and Baldur's Gate, because we'll eventually get to both of those later. But I decided to start with outer space because I feel a lot of people don't know that these outer space-based games go heavily into the role-playing genre, because you make decisions in them and it affects the world around you. So first one is Escape Velocity. Now, up until Nova, the third game, it was obscure because it was exclusive to Apple Macintosh computers. So you can play all of them on Windows today. They have an open source version with distinctions made because the shareware company known as Ambrosia went out of business. It was completely dissolved. So what do you do? But it's
well, that's where the that recent movement that just garnered a lot of attention from Pirate Software's
video games.
terrible take, comes into play.
Right. But there is a community that works on making the open source versions of these with distinctions so that it doesn't count as a one-to-one copy of the original game. And you can get it from there. I have the link in the description for where you can go to Escape Velocity Nova community. But you can play this as a total conversion mod. But the main idea is you go inside your starship, and I've got footage I recorded from it because I used the community edition here. I'm going to start it out here. So here's it starts. Oh, that's the other one. I'm going to do the opening start here.
It looks like asteroids.
It is. That's part of the inspiration to it. The other one was Star Trek, actually, because you start off with a Federation shuttle. Well, it's based off the design of a Federation shuttle, anyways.
Okay.
And you can do missions. So I can just say, okay, I'll take a mission. So I start on the planet Levo. And most of the planets here are either based off names from Star Wars, Star Trek, mythology, or even real life stars. This is the intro as a scrolling text. The new age of peace and prosperity was a failure. The discoveries that made faster than light travel possible brought us untold riches and unknown dangers. The alien warships appeared without warning and decimated most of the outer colony worlds within hours. There was no stopping the mysterious alien menace. The Great War was upon us, but we beat them. The human race bonded together into a powerful confederation of worlds whose combined military strength was enough to turn the tide of war. Within 8 years, enigmatic intruders were extinct, but the elite and powerful members of the Confederation were reluctant to give up power. They exploited the outer colony planets for the benefit of the wealthy core worlds, stripping them of their resources and coercing the colonists into forced labor. The reign of terror lasted 15 years, then the insurrection began. The outer colonies, weary of the Confederation's practices of plundering. So essentially, you're living in a time after an alien world, and you have the two major factions you can side with by your decisions, the Confederation and the Rebellion.
Okay.
The Confederation is where Earth is the capital. The Rebellion is more outer worlds, like out in the nebula, the Milky Way. But it's basically this oldest time part where people who aren't, the wealthiest class in society, who aren't in the capital area, feel that you don't recognize us. We're not being represented. We want something that will recognize us better. pretty much the formula for every major revolution in history.
Yeah.
But here I am. I landed on Levo, so I chose a mission. So I don't want to do a basic cargo mission and say, okay, I'll go to these planets. So I'll go into the map screen, and that's the mini map right over there. So I go to map and I select. Now in these older game, it's a simple hyperspace jumps from system to system.
Sure.
So it'll be a little different from Star Control 2, which we'll be talking about later. But I'm just this is me starting out with a shuttlecraft.
Okay.
So, but I'm trying to find the system. So, I mean, part of it that feels ridiculous is if you're in a interstellar societies, you'd think that they'd have a star map. Like just the way that you used to have a road atlas or a GPS. But this older game in 1996, this is when it was released in 1996, it was not quite that way.
Hey, Brian.
But so we go and you have to explore it a little bit. But here I have to just do a little guessing game, figuring, okay, what little hyperspace route connects to the system I'm looking for. And of course, you have to get far away from planets or else you can't use hyperspace. So I'm getting far away from the planet and the gravity, and then I'm doing hyperspace right now to get to my destination. Now, the other thing you can do in this game is you can also disable someone's ship and steal the fuel. You can steal the fuel out of their ship. You can steal the money out of their ship and whatever they were carrying, like metal, medical supplies, and so on. So here it is. So I'm choosing a new mission right now. I'm going to show commodity trading because that's the second part of it here.
To New Japan. That's funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of new places. There's New Britain, New Ireland, New Scotland.
They're not sober enough to have a New Ireland.
Oh, believe me, there's a New Ireland, lad. You just have to go looking for it. So I'm going to go to commodity trading because that's what I do when I get more cargo space. Because similar to real life, like trying to profit off stocks. So similar to real life, you want to have a quantity of something sold to get a significant profit, because my profit per 10 tons of commodity is only so much. So here I've got an upgraded ship. It's an Argosy, which originally had 100 tons of cargo space, but as it is right now, I sacrificed cargo space for armor and shields and weapons because there's no way I was going to be unprotected from pirates out there. So right now, this is later in the game where I have 1.2 million credits, but I'm going to do a commodity exchange. So I'm going to find a place where food has a low cost, and since Earth, as I found here, is high cost in food, which go figure, it's an old overpopulated capital of the Confederation. Of course, it's going to have a high price. So I'm going to go look. So unload the cargo, commodity exchange, food. Oh no, this is New Providence, not Earth. But I see that there's food for low cost. So I'm going to buy the food. And I'll sell it on Earth because the price on Earth for the same amount of food is high. So I'm going to Sol, which is the sun. And now I'm going to go and buy after I escape these pirates. Oh,
I gotcha.
Yeah, but I had an escape pod, so I'm not dead. But I'm going to use the save game system to actually do the commodity exchange. So, but if I do hardcore mode, you cannot open a save game. You're dead. You have to start a new pilot file. So here I am. I'm leaving New Providence, and I'm going to take all that food and sell it on Earth for a higher cost. So I profit off of it. Commodity exchange. And that's the real key in this game to getting a lot of money fast. You get a big freight ship. You trade commodities from a low-cost world or station to a high-cost world or station for that particular commodity. So I'm going to accept this mission. But that's the main trick. You just want a high cost. But eventually you can go in the bar or the outfit shop where you can buy upgrades for your ship. And if you have a good enough reputation, a faction will offer you to do missions for them. At which case you have joined a faction, and depending on which faction you join, the other faction is hostile to you. You join the Confederacy, the rebels are your enemy. You join the rebels, the Confederacy is your enemy, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
If you accidentally shoot a civilian ship or a ship that is from the ruling faction, that faction becomes hostile to you and you are a criminal in that system. So if I were to just shoot the freighter, I would now be a criminal and the Confederation would be hostile to me. And the condition of the various worlds is affected by you doing missions. So if I do the equipment runs to the moon will have a fully established station with the various services available. At the beginning, it doesn't have that. So I changed the whole situation on the moon, where now I can buy I can buy spaceships. So yeah, Braymore, the future Confederation is basically humans in the capital world, such as Alpha Centauri and Earth. Because they're the capital, they're the birthplace of humanity, and they have such a huge population of people that they can demand what they want from everyone else. Or so they think, because now there's a rebellion. So there's a civil war in the galaxy. So, yes, that's New Ireland, is where I'm going now.
Okay.
So here I'm doing the target system.
This is like a super early alpha for
Endless Sky?
No. I was thinking Eve Online.
Eve Online? Yeah. Eve Online is similar. So is Galaxy on Fire, Endless Sky. And you can get those later games that mostly use the same mechanics as this one on Steam. So Eve Online, Steam. You can also get, like I said, Endless Sky on Steam. And Endless Sky is also 2D like this game is. So yeah, that pirate attacked me, so I disabled his ship, took all his money, and blew his ship up. And since he's a pirate, they justified me, and I don't get a criminal record for destroying a pirate in the ship.
Gotcha.
But yeah, going back to this, Escape Velocity is one of these golden age role-playing games because it involves making decisions. It involves your decisions impacting the status of the world around you and your reputation. Like I said, you can have a criminal status if you do the wrong thing and attack the wrong people. 2D, top-down 2D gameplay. Yeah, basically. I mean, there's New Japan, New Britain, New Ireland, New Scotland.
If they made a New Japan after the last one got nuked too many times.
Yeah. Well, it's actually a planet. It's well, not a planet. It's a moon of a bigger gas giant. But yeah, it's New Japan is where they have luxury goods for cheap. So buy them cheap, luxury goods on New Japan, and then go to Earth and sell it for extra high cost. Can only travel there, and the only thing I forgot to mention is the combat rating. So your combat reputation depends on you destroying other ships. Obviously, if you destroy bigger starships, it gets you more reputation points. And when you're known as being really effective in space combat, that's when these factions want to recruit you, because this guy can fight, this guy can deliver around the enemy. So let's ask him. Let's go to the space bar and ask him if he wants to serve our cause. So there is EV Nova Community Edition. I have the link in the description of this video, and you can go get that and play Escape Velocity, Override, and Nova for free because it's open source now. The game's defunct. The people who made it are gone. I guess you said that EVE Online is similar.
I'm sorry.
You said EVE Online sounds pretty similar to this, like doing delivery jobs and
Yeah,
space combat.
basically. Every zone you go to is just a super wide open space area. You're picking up missions. Uh, you're hunting pirates, doing space battles, transferring things. It's a huge economic game. Like they have like top economists who like run and balance the economy in the background.
Oh,
It reminded me a lot of Eve.
so is EVE Online like 3D when you're piloting a ship?
Correct. It was big. It was big about 15, 20 years ago. Nah, about
Got it.
15. It's it's had some insane space battles that it's infamous for. Um, for example, to build an actual space station that people could use in what is called nullsec, so there's no security at all, no AI to protect you. It can take upwards of 6 months to build. And there was, and it's happened multiple times since, but there was a space battle. There was a battle out in this area at the 11th hour, right when right when the station was about to be finished, and it got attacked by an enemy organization. The battle lasted something like IRL, I'm not kidding, IRL, like, oh man, I thought it was like 48 or 36 hours or something like that. People just had their machines going and going and going. You're talking tens of thousands of players were just orbiting each other with ships, drones, everything, and they lost the station.
Oh, it might not
Yeah.
be as long as they kept Halo 3 servers running. So with Halo 3, there was a coordinated effort to just keep playing multiplayer games.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't have the inactivity to shut the multiplayer server for Halo 3. Take it offline.
Right.
Yeah. It's great. GOG.com in the case of Star Control 1 and 2, they've been doing a great job. I've been playing Heroes of Might and Magic. I actually finally got to finish it because the disc for Heroes of Might and Magic 3 complete that we had at home, it's broken. So I got a digital version of Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on GOG. So I finally got to complete the campaigns I didn't complete when I was a young kid, working in the summer between years of high school on Heroes of Might and Magic 3. So thanks to GOG, I was able to finish it. Thanks, GOG. But so Star Control, and it's funny you mentioned Economist because the guys making Star Control 2 had to go and look up what various planets could be like based on what the top astronomers in the world said they could be like, because this is back in 1992, 1990 for the first Star Control, and 1992 for the second one, and there weren't that many exoplanets they knew of beyond the solar system, combined with the fact that Pluto was still considered a planet back then. But the guys at Star Control 2, for making Star Control 2, when we didn't know as very much about planets beyond our sun or solar system, they had to speculate on what they'd be like. So they have these ideas of making Star Control 2 of, say, diamond planets, carbon worlds, halogen worlds, salt worlds, and so on. And I'll actually go into showing you part of this when we're showing what Star Control 2 is like. And we had this in an earlier episode, which is funny. And I realized, yeah, this is a good example of where they made gains in terms of making a role-playing game. It's kind of similar to the original DOS game of Dune. Before they had Dune 2, where it went full RTS, they had Dune, where you have this primitive DOS layout, and are controlling different parts on the planet Arrakis, and you do battles for it. But Star Control 2 did that. And the way that Star Control works is it is a dynamic galaxy that world you have laid out. And the original DOS version had with the CD, it came with a huge map that you unfolded out of the box, and you could put on your wall and say, okay, this is where all the little star systems are located on this huge map that you could unfold and take a look at. The first one was on DOS, and 2 years later, the 3DO short-lived game console had Star Control on it as well, but 3DO is dead in terms of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So then we came up with Star Control 2, and Toys for Bob was the developer, and it was published by Accolade. So you play as Captain Zelnick, but you can have the name be whatever you want. Same with the starship. So without much further ado, we'll start taking a look at, okay, what did Star Control 2 look like?
Mm-hmm.
There. Opening screen. So Super Melee, which is what Chaos is talking about, I got the open source version. So my brother and I were playing on our home PC, the 2-player multiplayer, where you both choose ships and you fly around it, shooting at each other. But we played that a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Set free into the open space community. That's a funny one. Open Space Community 2002.
Something so charming about these old school games.
Well, a lot of it is they have a very limited range of music because of data constraints, storage constraints. So they use this basic electronic music in DOS games back then. But it works. It works pretty well for what they were constrained in fitting this on a 300 megabytes on a CD-ROM. One of my favorite opening songs in these old PC games.
It's a factory. It's just a hut.
Yeah, that's got to be a huge factory under there, and that's your ship, your main ship, your flagship or mothership, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun seeing the little circular drone, like retro-futuristic future drones flying around to construct the ship. So the interesting part about this game is it runs on a timer, similar to how you remember the original Fallout, right?
Yeah.
So this one has a similar countdown timer, and over the course of time, as it elapses in the game, the different alien races could become extinct. They can the areas of the galaxy under the control can expand or shrink, and so on. So this whole game has a difficulty to it because it depends on you advancing within a certain amount of time. So right here, I'm starting when you go to Sol, or our solar system, and you try and figure out, okay, what's going on. I was stranded on the other planet for a long time, and now I'm back. What happened? So I'm going to Earth, and let's see what's on Earth. So,
attention, interloper.
So yeah, it's a little frog thing talking to you as a translator.
This vessel speaks with the voice and authority of ur-quan. You are trespassing within ur-quan space. This world, Earth, may not be approached for any reason, nor will hostilities against our orbital platform be tolerated. In addition, your ship does not respond to standard hierarchy identification transmissions, and is therefore deemed to be independent. This is not permissible. Only subservience shall be tolerated.
Yeah,
This
Chaos, it was
now
like
leaves
cheesy,
to inform the
and
ur-quan
a lot of
of
this
your
game is not a little lighthearted, but
are commanded
I
to
still
remain
like it.
here and await the arrival of the ur-quan. Disobedience will be punished.
Yeah, sure thing, Kraid. Or Krang, sorry.
Yeah, oh yeah, Krang from TMNT, right?
Yeah.
Although I remember, didn't Krang have the like high-pitched voice, or was that just the animated television series?
Attention, unidentified space vessel. I am Starbase Commander Hayes of the slave planet Earth. Our hyperwave broadcast extremely weak. Situation critical. Energy cores exhausted. Scanners and deep radar are not...
So here, when you go back to your home base, that's where you can buy new upgrades and have your ship refueled. So it's interesting. That's how it works in this game. I mean, you can do plenty of the starship updates and upgrades and reconfigure how your ship is laid out, like add more crew, add more weapons, add more fuel. But for the most part, you just have to get started by getting the Earth station resupplied because they're running out of power.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the other part of this game is interesting is it actually goes, unlike Escape Velocity, it goes to the simulation of having mini games where you go down to the planets and explore them for minerals or creature DNA. Because you can, later on in the game, you have the Melnorm, which are a type of alien race that collect creature DNA because you shot and killed whatever aliens on other planets, and then you give the Melnorm their DNA so they can sell you new technologies.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if I can get to the hyperspace part. So this is where you name your
Okay, that
new
sounds
faction,
pretty
your new
inspiring.
country.
So be it. The new alliance of free stars. Now, Captain, I expect the configuration process for the starbase to take at least 2 weeks, so let's get to work.
And it's also crazy that, back then they had to ask their family members to do the voices, or their coworkers to do the
I have
voices for
good
low
news to report,
budget.
Captain. We have successfully integrated the precursor technology from your ship into our fabricator system, and as you can see, we've already begun minor repairs on your ship, patching up some of the micrometeorite holes. We noticed that your ship does not have an emergency warp escape unit, so our engineers rigged up some for you and each of your escorts. Now, you should be able to escape from a bad situation with the touch of a button. But there is a cost, however. The unit gulps up 5 fuel units each time your precursor ship uses it. Also, we now have a limited capacity to make modifications to your ship, to refine starship fuel, to build additional combat ships, and to train new members of your crew for the flagship and any ships you acquire for your fleet. Captain, I know you're eager to get to work, so I'll be brief. If you have any questions how this starbase works...
Alright, so you find your first alien contact on Pluto. Here, I'll show the... So you go to Pluto. You can tell the age of this because they still considered Pluto a planet when they made this. But you get your scan. So energy tells you if there's cities or technology on a planet, and life tells you if there's something alive there.
I like how Pluto has continents.
Yeah. There it is. So this is the lander, and you control your lander to collect minerals, or mine minerals, and collect DNA by shooting creatures. Now, things like if the planet's hot, or if there's earthquakes, they damage the lander, but you can develop resistance by getting new technologies for your lander so they can survive heat and other factors on a planet longer. So, first alien contact in the game, aside from the fact that...
Yeah, aside from the wobbly eye.
Yeah.
This is Spotty, Captain Sowito. I know you are going to torture me, so let's just get this over with right now.
Such a gloomy, morose alien.
Are 241.6 by...
I didn't even torture you yet.
8.7, and the ultra-secret Spotty cipher, which is known only by me and several billion other Spotty, is happy.
I guess his race literally has no spine.
Yeah.
I was
Primitive.
so startled when it approached my vessel, it became necessary to...
Alright.
Well, I have been unpleasantly employed for the last 25 years.
You mean you've been unemployed? Is there no one else but you there?
Before you have asked this question, Captain, will the third time be the charm? Alas, I fear not.
Just join our fleet.
Captain, how true! In truth, just between us, during the past 7 years, I have been quite ill at ease, and yet now I find myself enjoying your company. This witty dialogue, and the presence of your huge, powerful, death-dealing starship, which, being my friend, you would certainly feel compelled to use in order to save me from any hostile life forms who threatened me with death. Happy days and jubilation!
It took a while.
I discard all prejudice and hesitation, and accept and celebrate your offer of protection and your undying commitment to my well-being. I must wax melancholy for just a...
Mineral ores gather...
I never expected to...
This is how space combat works. It's one-on-one.
You've
But
shown that you can handle your...
It's But the way the damage works in this game is like, if you take damage, you lose crew members. So the idea is to like make your ship resilient, is to have many crew members, like old Star Trek, where you like see a panel blow up and crew members die.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's a little ridiculous, but I don't know. I do enjoy the timer. You know how this all operates on a time limit, and there's various civilizations out there, and Star Control too.
Okay.
But then what?
I'm gonna show the combat thing.
Fool! As alien as your ship may be, our sensors reveal how few weapons you have on board. Though this vessel is undercrewed, and our cloak of darkness is non-functional, we still have more than enough power to kill you all.
Gotta love the voices, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a one-on-one. With the cruiser, you got missiles, so that's what I'm doing right here. Is I'm just using the long-range missiles to ouch, and don't crash into things that'll damage you.
Uh-oh. They gotcha.
No, I got them with the
Oh, you got that.
and the
Oh, okay,
missiles.
okay.
Yeah.
What a beautiful sight, Captain. I haven't seen an Avenger blown away like that since the battle in Draco. I guess you've shown that you can handle yourself in...
And exact intense interval.
So
I have been
it's not presets like escape velocity, but you have to manually move yourself around in hyperspace.
Neat.
fun.
So yeah, first we're going to where Fwifo said the spot they were found, so we can just get them to join us.
Evil one's natural cunning and ferocity. Finally, with no other option available.
Now encounter. We are a relatively peaceful group of species.
So I'm going to finish up with this one, but this is where you actually meet ur-quan. These ones suck because they, they're annoying because they launch tiny fighters to destroy your ship.
Nice.
But that's about it. I know time is pressing. So, there it is. So in a way, it's just both of these games in space were an early way of saying that, hey, look, you're in this dynamic universe or world where your decisions have an impact, and the world around you can be changing. And of course, this one has, as Chaos mentioned earlier, we had a fun time playing the open source ur-quan Masters using Super Melee on our home PC, where it's one-on-one starship battles.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the other one. There's the oars, and let's go over next week. So next week is going to be Sword and Sorcery. We'll finally talk about Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, Icewind Dale, and after that, we're going to talk about Beneath the Still Sky and Fallout, because that's going to be the post-apocalyptic role-playing game. So it's pretty much set, and that should finish off September and into early October.
Cool.
But I'm not going to really be live streaming. Got to take care of the cat on top of everything else this week. So
Okay.
I'm not really gaming live stream. Are you going to be up on Friday?
Yeah, I should. I will be streaming tomorrow with more Doom Eternal, and I'm going to try to get the weapons review out. A bunch of things. I decided to shift my attention to a bunch of other things, which is why the weapons review hasn't come out. I will try to get it out tomorrow. I don't know if I will.
Yeah, I'm going to be working for the 20th anniversary for Curse of Darkness. I'm going to make a video about that, but I'm not going to be doing an hour-long video as a lot of people might expect. I'm anticipating it to be 20 minutes, maybe 30, like I did in my other longer videos. So I'll see about that. That's the other project I'm doing aside from live streaming. So yeah, next week should be better. The cat should be better. Apparently, cats get the flu too somehow, but we're just making sure she's all better. Other than that, I'll go back to normal next week. So everyone, thank you for stopping by and learning about the golden age of role-playing games. See you next week for Baldur's Gate, Planescape Torment, and others on same time, same channel.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.
All right. All right. Getting started soon. Starting soon. Just setting up. Sure when this little notification here posting. All right, we're gonna be counting down soon, real soon.
No problem.
All right, another episode of Whatever Happened to the Game. Following up from last week, we were actually talking about the fantasy role-playing games, especially those based on Dungeons and Dragons. I am not the biggest expert, so Albelio, if you're more familiar with that kind of game, because I mainly played Warhammer and another one, that was a collaboration between Games Workshop and Milton Bradley, known as Hero Quest, but that's about it for me. So if you don't mind, I might ask you some things about D&D and how they went into these games. And welcome, Albelio, by the way.
Well, thanks for having me as usual. And I'm not going to be as useful as you think.
Okay, well that's okay. I've played through most of these ones, but first is the news. So they're remastering Deus Ex from the year 2000. It's coming out for PlayStation 5 early next year.
Nice.
Warren Spector, the same guy who was the producer of the original game, he's still alive and kicking. And he said, "Hey, I'm glad that we're going to be releasing this again for today's computers and consoles too. So it'd be better than it was, because back in the time it was released, it was only for PC and later for PlayStation 2. That was it. Now that's for Xbox, Nintendo Switch, both Switch and Switch 2, and PlayStation, all three of those, and Steam. So, and Avalon Hill and Hasbro have re-released older board and tabletop games. So they've re-released the Hero Quest game I mentioned before, Fireball Island. My son's hooked on this game since I got it to him for his birthday. All ages, and Amazing Labyrinth. I don't know if you've remembered any of these, but they have re-released them this year or the year prior, and they're out. They're on Amazon. They're on major retail stores, Walmart, Target, and other specialty toy stores.
We're going through a nostalgia arc for millennials right now, I think.
I think so too, but my son obviously is a millennial. He was born in 2014, but he's really liking Fireball Island. But
Sure.
It's great that it's great that Avalon Hill and the other people are making new versions of the old games. They're fun to put together with Fireball Island because you actually have this 3D Volcar monster that rolls marbles out, and for fireballs, and the fireball actually knocks the player pieces off the board because the board's 3D as well. So
nice,
yeah. And they're re-released. So the golden age of role-playing games is marked by role-playing games in which one can make a custom character and make decisions that impact both the player character and the world based on the good, evil, or neutral decisions of the player. The status of communities, the player character, or entire nations and factions are influenced by the player's actions or inaction in the game. Games could even have multiple endings depending on the decision of the player. The golden age is considered to be the 1990s through the 2000s for PC and console games. And today is a focus on fantasy role-playing games. Many of them are based on Dungeons and Dragons. So this is the first one that Interplay did before they went into doing Baldur's Gate. So Blood and Magic, it's a rather primitive, and I'm going to get some video footage of this up. For Blood and Magic, it's a war game. It's kind of similar to Warcraft. Yeah, it's semi turn based, but we're gonna get a little footage of this Blood and Magic up.
Oh yeah, and it's what do they call isometric, where it's diagonal based.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I'm always fascinated by the old school RPGs and old computer games to see like how the systems came about and they evolved over time. But I almost never played any of these things.
Oh yeah. So today it's going to be, it's interesting because it's amazing how old the decision-making mechanics were with first Interplay, because Interplay had a license for Dungeons and Dragons based games, and then there's Bethesda, who made their own Elder Scrolls games, because we're going to be talking about one of Bethesda's early games today as well, actually. Daggerfall.
Mm-hmm. And Daggerfall is like the more popular of the Elder Scrolls games, right?
Of the early ones, sure. It's one, like there was Arena, but that was not as large of a world, and it was mostly combat focused. But it was, Arena was a prototype to see, okay, could we get this kind of first-person role-playing games going? Because as we're going to see, it's going to be, it's obviously back in the days of DOS. So Daggerfall was back in 1996.
Man, I miss DOS.
Yeah, I missed DOS a lot. I mean, dang. I was too young for Doom. Here we go. So this is the blue campaign, but So you choose. Okay, who's your lead hero right here in Blood and Magic? So
Okay.
this person chose the mage rather than the paladin. And you can see there's some audio in this one at least.
Because you can see like all the different stats here. Each unit can carry an item. This is a healing potion, so I'm about to die. I can use that. And
So as you can see, it is kind of similar to Warcraft here.
Very.
Only Warcraft was because Blizzard couldn't get the rights for Warhammer, like the original Warhammer, not 40K, but Warhammer, and they just decided to make their own thing.
Yeah, I know StarCraft is like that. I don't know about the original Warcraft though.
Oh, it is. They because the original Warhammer came first in 1982. Warhammer 40K didn't come until 87, but Blizzard was asking for and of course Warhammer 40K has a heavy influence on StarCraft by far.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the original Warcraft they made it because they wouldn't get the rights from Games Workshop to make a Warhammer fantasy game. So
Gotcha.
Here, you have a warrior and you're trying to get more warriors. And obviously, just like Warcraft, for Blood and Magic, you can issue commands, destroy buildings. So that was Blood and Magic. That's the first interplay fantasy game.
It's interesting seeing how limited the coding and everything was, because in games like this at the time, like the original Warcraft, you could only command 4 units at a time, and they the game was lacking so many different options because you didn't have attack move. Attack move wasn't a thing until StarCraft in
Warcraft 2 actually, but yeah.
No, you could attack move to a location, but the difference between Warcraft 2 and StarCraft is that the Warcraft 2 coding prioritized movement. So you could attack move to a location, but a character would not attack until they reach that spot. Warcraft 2, or in StarCraft, they actually prioritized attacking on the way down there. That was the big difference between the two.
So
Warcraft 2 was close, but didn't quite have it.
So StarCraft is when they would actually stop and attack if they were in the middle of a move.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha. So if you had 6 different targets on the way down, you'd have a Marine or a Zergling or something would shoot and kill everything on the way down there. Whereas if you had 9 full units in the attack move, the only time they would actually kind of choose to attack is if the character stops. So you'd have to have let's say the pathing AI for your footman is you're walking downward and there's 3 let's say there's 4 grunts in the way. So if the AI is physically stopped, there is a chance the AI will actually code, I stopped moving, now I will attack. Otherwise, you could have 9 footmen just walk straight past a line of orcs who are ordered to hold position, and they'll just wail on your footmen until they walk past them.
Right. So that is interesting. So yeah. So this was their own little attempt at making real-time strategy. But then they moved to Baldur's Gate, which is very much focused on your character. There are some subplots with the other party members, but the main overarching plot is about your character and your arch nemesis. I mean, so that's more or less how it goes. But again, it's very dynamic because the various towns and you have a legal status. Like, are you a criminal in this town? Because if you got caught stealing anyways. If they don't catch you, you don't get a criminal record. But if you do, well, tough luck, because now you have you have bounty hunters in the world of Baldur's Gate, and you also have what's called the Flaming Fists. Those are the guards, and I guess you call them special forces, essentially, from medieval times. But they're soldiers who will come after you if you are a criminal. But the chances of a random encounter with the Flaming Fist are increased depending on how severe your crimes were. If you stole something, well, not really. If you murdered someone, pretty much guaranteed. So
my knowledge of Baldur's Gate is basically zero, because I don't know anything about like at all about the franchise. Really, really spicy hot take. Like, I am not actually a big fan of D&D at all.
Got it. Gotcha.
I have never in my life, and I've played it. Like, I've played D&D a couple times, but I've never played in a campaign that captivated me, really interested me. It like every single time I've ever done it, it always devolves into just straight comedy, because it's such a ludicrous thing to me, because it's like there's not enough to be taken seriously. The mechanics are like 99% of the time the mechanics are discussed and people are arguing back and forth on what they can or cannot do. Like, it's such a chaotic mess to me that I can't take it seriously. Nothing is ever consistent. Like, I just, like, to me, D&D is just it's just a mess. I actually don't care for it.
That's completely fine. I mean, it's the only way I've actually done it is D&D is with PC or video games, because there you have these, the computer's enforcing the rules for you. It's not you arguing with another person. I know that's sad, but it's, a computer's doing it. Other than that, I've wasted some of my my fortune as a dependent playing Warhammer. But, Warhammer is a little different. I mean, it's you and the other people having fun doing the dice rolls, setting up the landscape. Nowadays, people are pretty spoiled, because you have places like the local game shop that have landscapes set up for playing Warhammer, if people get an appointment to go play it there.
And that's totally fine. I really like how detailed a lot of the landscapes and everything can be. Like, I actually have, speaking of old board games, I actually have the original Dragon Strike board game with the VHS. Yeah, I have it. I actually own it. I fixed the dragon because the copy I got, the one of the wings broke off. But yeah, I have the whole thing with VHS. I played that years ago. Loved it when I was a kid. Loved it. One of the coolest memories I had was in the castle, the dragon popped up, and in order to save my brother and our buddy who was playing with us, I stood in front of the dragon in the doorway and just fought it. But I have so little time for anything that it's basically collected dust. But yeah, I have the full box. It's complete. All of the side tokens, the map is in pristine condition, all of it.
Right.
The VHS still plays too. Like, I pulled out our old DVD VHS player. Works just fine.
Great. So that right there was the amazing intro to Baldur's Gate. The part where the guy who's supposedly your arch nemesis grabs him, chokes him, throws him off the building. And that's how it starts.
Yeah, I've only ever played Baldur's Gate 3 for like 20 minutes, and that experience was not good for me. To be fair, I kind of bitched out, honestly. because everyone else in the group had already like blown through the first two or three chapters of the game, and they were so sick and tired of rolling through the game without waiting. So they knew all the choices and went through, and it was my first experience. So I took like 5 or 10 minutes just to get through the first room of the game because I was trying to figure out what's what. And it was just like, it was just like I'm trying to experience it, and everyone's like checking their watches on their phone, tapping their feet, and it's just like, okay, you know what? I don't have the time to play this. You guys clearly don't want to waste time in the early stuff. I'll just refund the game, and that was it. So in terms of Baldur's Gate, I have like zero experience. All I know is that Baldur's Gate is highly recommended by D&D players. That's all I know.
Oh, I recommend it, and as I told you before, I don't play D&D like in terms of books and action figures. I just do it on a computer. And the first game I actually played wasn't actually D&D. It was Fallout. The first Fallout. So a lot of this I found easy to understand because in Fallout, the condition of various points on the map depends on what you did as a player. If you didn't fix the water pump in Necropolis in Fallout, for instance, the mutants will have taken over the entire town, killed all the ghouls. And it's similar here. Obviously, this is some of the same people that worked at Interplay. It's also an Interplay published game. And it's some of the same people in this one, which makes it interesting because a lot of the same principles apply in the first Baldur's Gate. The fair never opens, and the fairgrounds can be completely destroyed if you do not destroy the goblins in the mines. So basically, there's mines near a fairground, but if you don't take care of the mines and the monsters in it, the monsters will come out of the mines and kill everybody. That kind of consequences if you don't act.
Gotcha.
But the beginning is a little slow. You have these assassins like here, and you meet with the mage who's adopted you. Your real parents were killed, and you don't know why. That kind of blank slate character where you have that mystery. Okay, why? And you also meet the guy with the horned helmet who threw the guy off the roof at the beginning because he's your arch nemesis. That's the basic setup. But this is the tutorial. I like it because Fallout doesn't really have any tutorial. This one does.
Yeah, 5 minutes in and it's already far more forgiving than Fallout.
Yeah. Well, you haven't left Candlekeep, but once you do, it gets a lot more brutal, huh?
Yeah, well, the old RPGs, like all of them did not waste their time with like holding your hand. There's a reason why like all of them were very considerably difficult in the case of like on par with things like Castlevania. Because
you needed the book.
They didn't care. It's just like, you're in this world, enjoy the world because it's meant to be immersive, and if you die in it, you die, like. Oh yeah.
And not only that, but they have the books, and that's the thing I really like about GOG is that they at least have preserved electronic versions of the game manuals, because with these games that they're selling, you need the manual or else you were totally lost. Completely lost. So this is where you get your first potential. You can choose to leave them behind if you want. In fact, you don't even need to keep Imoen, the thief that's your companion. You can let her go, literally. But Montaron, they're the first ones, optional characters you can add to your group. But in this game, it's really brutal on your own. In the early parts, obviously they do this dice rolling system similar to Fallout, but having more people in your group really increases your chances of not being killed so soon,
Mhm.
especially with different types of characters. So, for instance, she's a thief. Monteron's a fighter, and his black mage companion is obviously a dark magic user who casts harmful spells like fire, magic missile, and so on. But yeah, it's I of all of them, I prefer Baldur's Gate a little bit more because it's really focused on a story which you determine the outcome based on what you do. And the more you find, the more secrets you find in Baldur's Gate, the better your outcome and more prepared you can be for the end, and the better the ending story can be. Because, similar, almost not quite as brutal as Fallout's ending slide narration. Baldur's Gate has some endings, and I realized, oh shit, I didn't go and save the fairgrounds, so the goblins killed everybody. How could I not?
Uh-huh.
I don't want that to be the ending next time.
It's sort of like the very confusing way I ended up getting that like really terrible ending for Fallout, where the mutants just like rolled through and wiped out a town that was totally safe.
Yeah. It's one of those brutal parts about these role-playing games that we call the golden age. It's just the world is so, I guess you'd say it, so dynamic or interactive and immersive for your character that everything your character does has some effect, has an impact.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the part about Fallout where you can just click and drag from your inventory onto a character's picture, and that gives them the item, unless it's too much weight.
I do remember a couple games that didn't actually have click drag like that.
This just makes it a lot easier. Like Planescape Torment does, and that's going to be another one we're going to see later. But the next one we're going to go into is the next one is going to be Icewind Dale. So this is near the end of the time period we're talking about, 2000. It's also based on Dungeons and Dragons, but it's focused much more on your entire team. It's not really a story that's focused on your character that you're playing as.
Okay.
So it's, I guess for an analogy, it's like saying Final Fantasy Tactics compared to the regular Final Fantasy games.
Okay, interesting.
Although that just sounds too horrible of a title to say Dungeons and Dragons Tactics.
Mm-hmm. Well, D&D Tactics, I suppose.
Yeah. All right, 1 minute. Yes.
Looks like it plays like a better version of that first one that you showed.
Baldur's Gate. I mean, it's also also interplay. Oh, blood and magic. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's right.
Yeah, it makes sense that it's going to look a lot like Baldur's Gate if it's interplay.
Yeah. No, I like this one. It's a little bit of a different opening. The screen's dark, but you have the omniscient narrator introducing you to the start of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, it's this story is all about you and, well, your team.
also got that like older sort of black and white style and grittier artistic our art style, I should say. Because
they use it for the past, so it's in the past. They show it in black and white, but then it changes to color when you go into the actual gameplay, which is nice.
Yeah, it reminds me of the old Warcraft art style of 1 and 2. It was a lot grittier.
Oh yeah, I remember the manuals had all those illustrations that like comic book quality art in it. No, not exactly chaos. Did I like brother? So chaos. Did I like play this at home? I'm trying to remember. I think it was the one I was playing at home. Oh, never mind. The shareware game. That was it. I'm going to move forward a little bit, but here you are. You start with the party, and almost the same interface, but it's just you have your whole team at the start. Anything I can do to help? Show a little backbone. I do like the old role playing games because you can really troll people in some of these dialogue options. You can tell that they were hamming it up. The programmers are hamming it up with the dialogue sometimes.
It's nice to see how many dialogue options people had at the time too, because so many games just do not have so many developers don't take the time to finally craft what they want.
Right.
It's very much a get it done, keep it vague and simple kind of thing. This is part of the reason why Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be played for at least a generation straight, because there's so many dialogue options that your playthrough of the game will almost never be the same.
Right.
Despite how ironically linear the game actually is.
Right. Right. I guess you'd say that there's overall in the first Baldur's Gate, there's overall a linear, like there's a main story, but there's all those things on the side you either find or you don't find. Like there's so many things you either find it or you don't, but given how tough the last battle in Baldur's Gate is, so this one is cool too because you can zoom in and zoom out with your mouse wheel.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy to just take a look at the whole area you're in. But I'm going to work on making sure I'm ready for the next one. But the next one's going to be Planescape Torment, and that's very much a shift in the other direction, where it's so heavily focused on your character that you're playing as. It's focused on your character rather than your group. But this one was good. It was somewhat of an improvement, in my opinion, over Baldur's Gate because it made some of the team commands a little bit more simple, which helps, when you're working on what's essentially a tactic, a type of game similar to Final Fantasy Tactics, where it focuses on your entire team rather than your character. So
I gotcha.
It's an interesting spin-off after Baldur's Gate came out.
I wonder how the AI handles in this game. Like, how useful are they? Do they wander off and whatnot?
Okay.
Like
you have
the
formation
helpers in Fallout.
You have formation orders, so you can say, okay, I want you to do a like a letter V formation, and your characters in your team will try and do that. I mean, it's not too sophisticated. Later strategy games get a bit more sophisticated with the team commands you can do, like Myth the Fallen Lords. But this one, it's relatively simple. Individual characters, if they have like fear or confusion status from a magic spell, they can run away to a distance from the battle, but eventually they'll come back when you've either just killed the monsters or ended combat. It still takes some things from Baldur's Gate, like here you're asking your thief to pick a lock, so he picks a lock and you check on what's inside the house, and there's a dire wolf in there, which is funny because I've actually read that dire wolves are a rare kind of wolf that, due to special genetics, the wolf is extra large.
So in real life?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, they just got done cloning a pair, didn't they?
Yeah. But it's a recessive genetic condition where a wolf gets extra huge. So like I don't know, Shaquille O'Neal, or that's a tall guy.
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah, I do like how the group actually like seems to like, because you mentioned the formations.
There's formations right here. So there's the T, there's the Vanguard, all those right down there. So you can order them to shape that formation at the bottom.
Is a good thing.
It is. It's very good.
Yeah, because like we didn't get like proper formations in Warcraft until 3, and that was way well. Actually,
it was Warcraft 3, more or less.
This game come out?
This is 2000, so a little bit.
Okay, so that's not too long after Warcraft 3. Before Warcraft 3.
Right. I feel that they were coming up with it at a similar point, because you had the top down role strategy games, and with those they at least tried to do basics: order to attack, order to cast a specific spell, and so on. There were a few ones that started with the strategy games, and that was Fantasy Empires, Blood and Magic, which you saw here. Then there was Command and Conquer, which was a spin-off of Dune, and there was Warcraft. So they were
2002 for Raid of Chaos.
Yeah, 2002. That's right. I thought it was 2001, but then I realized 2001 was when they were showing the game trailer in the theaters for Warcraft, and I was watching. I think it was Atlantis, the Disney Atlantis movie.
Oh yeah,
underrated film, by the way.
Yeah, hilariously, that's actually like one of my personal favorites from Disney.
Oh, really? I mean, it was, let me see, it was Michael J. Fox, James Garner. I'm trying to remember who the other voices in it were. Yeah. But the only thing I'd say as a strategy game that Icewind Dale added was that in Icewind Dale you write in your journal, and you're writing, the times you choose to write in your journal are save states you can go back to in the game. So it's a gimmick. Your character records it in your journal, you can rewind to it as a save state. Pretty easy.
Okay.
So I'm going to get this started.
So Planescape Torment is this is separate from D&D.
Well, it's based in the D&D world, but it's
okay.
but it's different from the other D&D based games. So it's you're somebody who's been reincarnated, but the thing is, okay, so you probably think, okay, if he reincarnates, then he won't stay dead. Well, no, it puts you on a blank slate again because now you don't remember anything and you start a new life. He basically be born and have to go through this tormentuous, awful, misfortunate life again. If he doesn't solve it, if he doesn't break the cycle, he ends up. Let's just say there's a very painful life where things go really unlucky for you.
Gotcha. So it's sort of like Legacy of Kain and Blood.
Yeah. But basically, if the chosen one fails, he's going to suffer all the way over again. So yeah, as you saw in the beginning, there's been re-releases that have this and Icewind Dale in the same package, the same thing you buy together. So
it's just an altar on wheels.
Yeah, pretty much. And this is a little earlier than Icewind Dale. It was 1999, but it's an altar on wheels, and they're offering a sacrifice. But you have to figure out what's going on here. I mean, what better to put into a role-playing game than a mystery?
Mm-hmm.
But as you play through Planescape Torment, you find out, okay, who is this guy? What's going on? And how am I going to stop it? So this is the chosen one when he's just a boy and he doesn't realize why he's been reincarnated yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the most confusing intros you'll ever see.
Gotta love how the game basically looks like a
Claymation almost.
Well, I was gonna say it looks a lot like a reboot.
Yeah, really early CGI. Really early CGI.
Yeah, he looks a lot like the he looks a lot like when they had to go into that game to do the Evil Dead game.
Oh my, gotcha.
Like they have the texture and everything on this character's face in the same exact way too. The dirt marks and everything.
So yeah, this game has the rotary click wheel selection. I was a little annoyed by it, but otherwise it's isometric top down. But you start out, waking up. I don't know. I can't remember. I asked you first, Skull. So, you have companions that are summoned and talk to you. In this case, your first one is a skull, a little skull spirit that talks to you. It's a little weird and annoying, but they're like fairy. They're like the fairy in Legend of Zelda. Like they guide you and point things out.
Yeah, I figured they were like Navi.
Yeah, only a little more, I guess, dark and gruesome. Some of the companions get a little funny, but this is very much, it's not, you don't really have as much of a party as you do with Baldur's Gate. It's mostly you playing as him and your little summoned familiar companions. And of course, they call your save game state a life, previous life, next life, reincarnation, that kind of themes.
Looks a lot like a Diablo 2.
Yeah, it's close to that time. Diablo 2 was 2001. Well, 2000, because Lord of Destruction was 2001. But in this one, unlike Fallout, where you have that box pop up, you can still keep a view on the world. You have it in your little bottom tab what kind of items are on the corpse or in the container that you open up. So that's part of this that I actually do like. Is that you don't really have it block your view of what's going on. It's just the bottom tab, and you can look at the inventory that way. Now, Planescape Torment was the worst-selling D&D game from Interplay, but it has had a cult following over the years, and it did get good reviews in spite of the poor sales.
Is it because you start off as an undead, or like what was a factor in its failure? Is it just not a good game?
It was a miss. It was among the first games where Chris Avellone was the writer for it. Chris Avellone from Star Wars Knights of the Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, same Chris, and Fallout 2. It came out in November, and there were other games at the time in 1999 that came out at a similar time. It just didn't have the best advertising, and it came out at the wrong time. There were other games that got a lot more interest in that year, whether it was the game. Apparently, the video games based on Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, actually did sell.
Well, at this time, yeah, Star Wars was reviving.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then the one game really based off Star Wars that kind of annoyed me was the one they made based on Phantom Menace, where you're playing as Obi-Wan Kenobi or Captain or the security captain. At times, you can just get really lost in that one. Really lost. But yeah, it's funny because as we're going to go into Elder Scrolls Daggerfall next. Oh, you're right. I can see what you mean by Diablo because the text is a similar font.
Yep.
Go ahead and try if you think you have the strength. Well, he's got a nice axe. Why not take it from him? Just backhanded him right there. So I'll get into what is actually Daggerfall next. So Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, 1996. It's the second Bethesda game in the Elder Scrolls series. The first one, as I mentioned earlier, was Arena, but it didn't quite have as big of an open world to it. It was mostly focused on fighting monsters one-on-one, which is fine. I mean, because the first Elder Scrolls was 1994, the year of Doom 2, and it was a foundation, a prototype. So it was, as a prototype on DOS. It was where Bethesda was getting its start with the role-playing game scene. And it's where it started to take off. So I'm going to go look at it. But you can, if you time it right, you can buy Daggerfall for free on Steam. Oh, no, Cass, not the first one. This is the second one. The first one was Arena, but this one actually had a bigger open world to it that you'd find in the later Elder Scrolls games like Morrowind and 2002 or Oblivion or Skyrim.
And Daggerfall is the first one that tries to do the first person perspective, right?
Correct. No, Brightmore, you're okay. You're still here. We're not quite finished yet. We're talking about Daggerfall right now.
Hey, Brian.
So it's nice of you to drop by, Brian. So being in the area of CDs, Daggerfall had the actual live action video game intro with video game cutscene with John Gilbert. And sadly, Gilbert died, even though it was Patrick Stewart who played his role as the Emperor. Gilbert died a few months before Oblivion was released. It was that sad. But no, this is how it goes. Unlike Morrowind or Oblivion, you don't start in the dungeon as the kind of tutorial. You just have to pick your skills first. Archery backstabbing. You really tell they didn't know how to be concise in making this game. So many different skills. I'm actually going to skip to the intro because this character's screen is really long.
I like how the text isn't even different. It's just a flat. It's just a flat text. His henchman is evil with his teardrop goatee.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's perfect. Like for low budget game studios, they got some pretty good costumes here.
I bet it only looks as good as it does because they were just like, yeah, just turn off the lights and then flip on that torch. That's the only light that's going to happen.
It does look like stone walls, though, and an arch door. So I'm wondering if they just found a place to film it. They probably did.
It's just some back alley in old London or something.
Maybe. I mean, there are a couple of boarding schools where they have filmed actual movies and television. Even I'm just saying in the USA, but it could be a boarding school in England too. We don't know. Okay,
That wasn't a. Oh wait, no, that's an ad. Never mind.
I'm getting ads for, hey, come build submarines or come get veterans benefits. Shut up! You give me the same ad so many times. Sorry, I'm going to consider premium or something to get or ad blocking. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it drives me nuts that like all this stuff keeps happening. I've reported so many ads that are just it's just thinly veiled sex on the, on the ads. Like
at least mine's mild. It's saying like, come claim your veterans benefits. It's like, shut up! You told me that same thing 5 different times last weekend. But yeah, this is their whole design they had back then. So obviously you have the mouse control to look up and down. But yeah,
this is interesting.
For back then, sure.
Oh, this is like an actual 3D environment too. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's close. They really don't have like they don't visibly have like upper levels in the same room, but they do a good job of making it look that way for 1996 DOS.
Sure. I do like this so far. This is pretty cool.
And they later did a remake with the Morrowind engine, which makes it true 3D.
Oh, they remade it. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So if GOG.com offers you the version in the Morrowind engine, that version of Daggerfall, if you get the original Daggerfall from them. So I did it, and I really liked the one that's made in the Morrowind engine.
Yep, these games do not, like this whole era of games, they just do not shy away from gore.
No, they don't.
YouTube ads are crazy balls of chaos. Oh yeah, it's insane, dude. Like the one I was mentioning earlier, one of them, it's just a topless girl, but they've like textured over her with this AI like mountainscape basically. But she's just standing there topless, and it's just like this is so clear. And it was for like a vinyl company.
Yeah,
it's for a vinyl company, but the ad went through where did the ad go through? I think they said the ad was paid for through like India or somewhere out there. And it's like, please, YouTube, can we stop?
Yeah. Oh, okay. But I'll get premium or ad block next time. Or I was on somewhat of a short notice because I took my family up to Poconos, Pennsylvania, at a lodge because my children had a long weekend at school, so I could have done more to prepare for this and use actual video files, but I'll do it next week. But it's nice how you just have to you have to look down, you have to look up.
Is this not full 3D? This looks like a 3D environment.
It's really close. I mean, the only thing you don't have is you don't have true floors above floors. I mean, you won't have someone standing on top of that cage, for instance.
Oh,
sure. But otherwise, you have levels in the dungeon. They just load a new map.
Okay, so it's like a better version of Doom's engine.
Yeah, much better version of Doom. Yeah, that was a Harpy Brain War. Watch out for them.
That was a woman?
A female monster. So yeah, so the way Daggerfall is a little different. It's not quite like Morrowind and Beyond are.
Oh, okay. No, I see it now. This room is better for revealing that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So Smash next question. So yeah, that's your inventory screen. It's a lot of button clicking, but it's still, I don't know, I'd say it's better than some. And it's just the other RPGs you're doing, role playing games you're doing weren't exactly first person. Like this one is. He's trying to see. Oh, he's trying to get the lever. So yeah, I mean, it isn't fully floors above floors, but there. So you get to the higher level, but it's not overlapping with anything. Quite. I'm trying to remember what was actually a 3D first-person shooter. I think it was Quake that started that. Wrong lever. Dang, you got a rat, a boar, and something else in that room. But it just gets easy in this game to an extent because you can just go to a door, and the AI is bad enough that it will only be one at a time if you have just the right distance from a door opening. Come to the door and use it to bottleneck your enemies. Well, if you can. So this is more or less going to be, I know, I wish I had more time, but we have other things today. So that was it. Those are the role-playing games. So we saw what we ended up seeing today were the rather early games for Interplay and Bethesda. Well, eventually we saw what happened when Bethesda got what used to be Interplay. So, but this is when Bethesda got started too with Daggerfall.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wouldn't mind giving Daggerfall a try, but again, I need the time.
Daggerfall is really cheap. Yeah, it's really cheap on Steam. It doesn't work quite the way Morrowind, Oblivion, and so on work. I usually go to an area, and when you go to that area that you choose, you have to move around in the dungeons and towns of that area. So it's a bit streamlined, but it's better than the prototype that was Arena by far. By far. And I'd argue that Daggerfall is easier to get started and get rolling with than Icewind Dale or Baldur's Gate were. Much easier. But my last little message is that yes, you can get these on GOG.com. All these games you've seen today, you can get today. You can get on GOG or Steam, but GOG.com, they preserve games because they have an old copy of the games they've legally bought, and they use that copy as a way to make newer ports to work on newer operating systems. So GOG.com is officially game preservation as a company. So when you buy games from them, you're sponsoring preservation of old games.
Okay.
Shadow Tower, Eternal Ring. Our Sir, some of these old Elder Scrolls games. Let me write that down.
Oh, okay, cool.
Kingsfield, Shadow Tower, Eternal Ring. I'll write that. I'll take a look at it. We could do it on a future episode too. So Shadow Tower, Eternal Ring. Because next week we're going to talk about the beginning of Fallout and Beneath the Steel Sky. So that should be interesting. So I got it. Thanks, Braymore. I took note of that one. So now that we're at the end and we have a nice audience, my revelation is that we're going to talk about the original Fallout games next week. And after that, more mysteries of Castlevania. So it's going to be interesting to kick off October leading up to Halloween. So if you don't know what those things in the picture for Mysteries of Castlevania are, you'll find out. So thank you everyone for stopping by. And I'll see you next time, same channel for the Fallout, Beneath the Steel Sky, and a couple other classic role-playing games.
Yep. And I've got Doom Eternal tomorrow, and we'll see if I'm able to complete some of the things I'm looking forward to doing. So if not, it'll be next week.
All right. Well, see you next week. I'll be working on a video for the anniversary of Castlevania Curse of Darkness. So that should be pretty good. A half-hour video like I usually do for the longer ones, but it'll be pretty enjoyable, I hope. All right. See you later, everyone. Next week, Thursday, same time, same channel.
Have a good day, everybody.
Feelers over the land above, across the gap, reaching towards this very place.
I'd seen him do it times, but I humored him. After all.
All right. So this is just the beginning of Beneath the Steel Sky, but it's a little introduction as I get the rest of this live stream ready.
That was when Joey piped up.
Sensors detect incoming audio source. The evil is nearly here.
It sounded more like a copter than a demon. But the next thing, all hell let loose anyway.
Run, Foster, run! Hide from the evil! Foster! Help! Better make my next body move faster, Foster.
He was only a robot. Oh, I love the little guy. Then, as suddenly as it started, the shooting stopped. There was a moment's silence as the copter cut its rotors. Then,
whoever is in charge here, come forward. Now!
Only a fool would have argued with that firepower.
I am the leader of these people. We are peaceful.
Bring him here.
At once, Commander Reich.
We're looking for someone. Someone who doesn't belong here. Who wasn't born in this garbage dump. Who came from the city as a child. We want to take him home again.
My mind racing. I remembered where I'd seen that symbol.
This is Beneath the Steel Sky. It's going to be one of the topics in today's live stream.
The day my mother died.
So it's going to be a way to just take a look at this role-playing game. It's more an adventure game, but it involves interacting and enacting change in the world around you. So
the old man had gently explained that there was no way back into the city, and I already knew there was nothing he could do for Mother. His tribe was poor, but they treated
Hi, Braymore. We're almost started.
I learned how to survive in the wasteland they called the Gap, and scavenging from the city dumps. As the years passed, I forgot my life in the city, discovered new talents.
Ha! I'm your friend. Call me Joey.
And got a second name.
This is what we'll call you. Now that you've come of age, son, we found you, fostered you, so that makes you Robert Foster.
Wasted enough time. Give us the runaway, or we'll shoot everyone. Starting with you, Granddad.
The old man had been right for once. It was me they wanted.
No, my son. Don't let the evil take you. Run!
DNA scan confirms it's him, sir. Evil had come to the gap, just as he said.
Take him.
But had the old man seen why it wanted me, or what it would do next? It was too late to ask him now.
Leaving destruction zone, Commander Reich. Good. Detonate.
Much too late. Why, you murdering?
Keep him.
Union City. I'd been away so long. Now I was back. The city looked different, beautiful, peaceful, happy.
I was hoping to meet you, Mr. Grundy.
My dear husband is back!
Is everyone feeling aspirational today?
But I was on the trail of a child, brutally abducted from his village.
Beware!
Yeah, so Beneath the Steel Sky and the sequel, Beyond the Steel Sky, are both, a type of post-apocalyptic game. It's set after some kind of major destruction. In Shadowrun, yeah, it is. It is. It's a very dark, futuristic, but most of the world you're living in Beneath the Steel Sky or Beyond the Steel Sky is a wasteland with tribals, but it's after you. It's when you find these cities that are mostly concealed from everyone else, that these cities that are hidden and isolated from the rest of the world are actually super advanced. It's a little interesting. Old DOS game, a real classic. Yeah, and Shadowrun is interesting. Shadowrun was first pen and paper. Which Shadowrun did you ever play? Did you play Shadowrun Returns, Braymore, or was it, Shadowrun for Sega Genesis or SNES? Those are the ones I'm familiar with, and I took a look at them. SNES. Well, Shadowrun Returns, the the first scenario for Shadowrun Returns, Emerald City Ripper. Well, that's the serial killer's Emerald City Ripper, but you can get Shadowrun Returns on Steam, and the first scenario they have, because they have many scenarios which play out like entire games for Shadowrun. The first one was a sequel to the SNES one, so it's that interesting. I've got a lot of news and gaming news today because I was off last week, and thanks for. If you wanted to, if you stopped by the one on Classic Doom, that's great. But last week was all right. And near the last minute, I became one of the extra parental supervisors for my son in elementary school. Was going on a trip to Elmwood Zoo. So if you ever visit Pennsylvania near Philadelphia, there's Elmwood. The admission for Elmwood Zoo is a little more expensive than Philadelphia, but Elmwood is a little less crowded than Philadelphia is, and it's in a place where the traffic is less bad than Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is a mess. I'm sure everyone would say that about their city, and I'll say it about mine. I'm no exception. Yeah, I mean, a lot of these games, and I've talked about it in previous podcasts, is I cannot stand the experiences I had doing actual tabletop play, except for Warhammer, because Warhammer is mostly just doing dice rolls for shoot characters on a tabletop for Warhammer 40K. But with Dungeons and Dragons or Shadowrun, my experiences are terrible for those. It's hard because it's a game with Shadowrun or Dungeons and Dragons. It's potentially a complex story, but you need a person who is able to, as the leader or DM in charge of the game, Dungeon Master as it's called, you need to have someone who knows how to arrange and organize the game very well as a story. And with the PC games I've played, such as Baldur's Gate or Shadowrun the video game and Shadowrun Returns, I just had a better time with that because in making that game, they had to organize everything into it, like the story, the characters, the NPCs, the world you're playing in, all of it. They organized it into making an actual PC game or a console game. So it was more or less a way of me as I played these games in PC form. It just was a better experience because the people who made the game and programming it, developing it, and publishing it put a better effort in than a nighttime gameplay. But I mean, there's probably exceptionally good people who know how to craft stories and craft a game with rules based on Dungeons and Dragons or Shadowrun. I just wasn't fortunate enough to meet them. Now, there are some games like Hero Quest and stuff where you have a board game and it's relatively easy to set up the story compared to Dungeons and Dragons because you have a board representing the dungeon and you just need to set up the various tiles where they are. You can custom make it aside from the game set up in Hero Quest. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's Games Workshop's way of making a dungeon crawling RPG. And that much is a little enjoyable. So, all right, it is reaching that time. I am going to be hitting the introduction. All right, hello everyone. Agent Fahrenheit Tepish here, and as my channel is now known as Alucard's YouTube channel. So today we are talking about another Whatever Happened to the Game episode of the podcast. Guests are welcome. We're talking about whatever happened to the role-playing games in the Golden Age, and we're talking about the end of the world and beyond. So we're talking about post-apocalyptic types of role-playing games, of which you have Fallout, you also have Beneath the Steel Sky, and how this age, which I call the Golden Age of role-playing games, where you had characters with an incredible amount of agency, where their choices affected the character's reputation and condition in the world, as well as the condition of the world around them. So previously, we started off talking about space, because with Star Control 2, you had a big case of a world that was dynamic, which your character is in, and your character's actions in that world affected how the world worked. So back in Star Control 2, you had that world where you made deals and made contact with various alien species and recruited them to fight other alien species, similar to Star Trek. That was Star Control 2 and Escape Velocity. Then the second one was talking about the Dungeons and Dragons based games, with the exception of how the Elder Scrolls games got started. But before we get too far into today's one about the post-apocalyptic role-playing games from the Golden Age, we're going to go into the news. So we have a lot of catching up to do in the news. First, we're going to talk about how the campaign story mode of Battlefield 6 has less than 10 missions. This is the most recent game by EA. It's the shortest campaign for a Battlefield game so far. It's also the newest one. Brazil has passed a law banning loot boxes in video games that sell in Brazil. So I wonder how that goes. I'm guessing they would more likely be targeting, say, sports games. I just wonder how the gaming community in Brazil is going to feel about that part. Sports games, especially soccer video games, are extremely popular the world over, which is going to lead into another topic which I'm going to catch up on page 2 of the news. Okay, so after that, the Xbox Ally and ROG. So Xbox is partnering with someone to do an outsourcing for the ROG company to do what is essentially the Xbox portable console. It's around $1,000, $1,000. I know it says $999, $999, but with sales tax and other issues, it will be selling to you over $1,000. Okay, there's no way around that. But basically, this is Xbox telling Nintendo, "Hold my beer," Because if you thought the Nintendo Switch 2 was expensive for $450, now you have Xbox saying, "Hey, we'll do more than double the price of the Nintendo Switch 2, and you're gonna like it because it's Xbox." Well, it depends. I'm just one person. Hi, Abel. Welcome to the live stream. It's okay. I'm still stuck in the news because from last week and this week, there's been so many things that dropped in video game news, so I'm catching up on it right now.
I gotcha. Hey, Brian, how you doing?
Yeah. So yeah, $1,000 for Xbox Portable. I mean, this is the price stated, but with the way sales tax and other things works for shipping and handling, if you're ordering online, it's going to be over $1,000 for the Xbox Portable.
Excuse the hell out of you. What? What is this?
Yeah.
$1,000
for the portable Xbox. They literally told Nintendo to hold their beer, Albelio. I'm not kidding.
Oh goodness. That's horrible.
Well, it's more than just an Xbox. It's actually technically a Windows PC. But I already have a Windows PC. So why should I get a portable one when my PC as I own it, already plays the games? I mean, you can play Xbox, and most Xbox and PlayStation games will go to PC on Steam. So, like, why? Yes, and that's the next page, Braymore. $30 for an Xbox subscription. So Game Pass, they doubled it. They pretty much doubled the cost of your monthly subscription for Game Pass on Xbox, where they live stream the games to you from the server.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, all of YouTube is on fire about the Game Pass price hike monthly. I mean, the one thing they're going to do though is that if in the current month, this will be the last month where you pay the lower price per month.
Yeah, well, as people walk away from the luxuries of life, the costs are going to increase so that they can maintain what they currently have. The company that cuts their prices first and gets rid of the unnecessary fat, that's the company that's not only going to lead the way in the right direction, that's also the company that's going to survive.
Yeah. So Alex, like, my big regret is I actually put a Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP together. I got a 501 Game Boy Color cartridge for the Game Boy Advance, and my children enjoy it quite well. Playing Pokemon or Mario or Paper Mario on it, so it's all right. A lot of these older games are actually cheap now because of GOG.com, which all these games, if you're going to mention today, are on GOG.com and Steam. Well, yeah, and on top of that, Brim, I already own a Windows PC. What would I not? Why should I get a second Windows PC when I already have one? I mean, some people don't mind that, but for me, it's redundant. And it probably has the same stick drift. And not only that, but for the gaming controller I used I used the PlayStation controller for some of my gameplay that I've been showing live, but the PlayStation one, it had the stick drift problem you were saying after about 3 months. I'm not sure how quick the Switch one is, but so far it's okay. So far. They don't take it to school. They aren't allowed to take the Game Boy to school. We have Nintendo Wii at home, but it's at the house. If people want to tease me, be my guest. We're not bankrupt and we're not deep in debt, so everyone to teach their own. Electronic Arts has been agreed to a leveraged buyout by Silver Lake, Saudi Arabia, and affinity partners Jared Kushner in Israel, making the game publisher cease to be publicly traded. So, goodbye to EA on the stock market.
This is probably the biggest gaming news I've heard in a long time. The idea that, because EA has been all about, all of this, the woke money and everything else going on, and now they're being controlled by the Jews and the Muslims.
Well,
and none of them are going to do any of this crap anymore. They're going to privatize the company. That means, dude, it's a massive shift away from what we've been seeing with a lot of games. Like, the entire company is going to be completely cleaned out.
Oh, I mean, the layoffs are going to happen either way because the debt, it's an extra $20 billion in debt. And it'll take them multiple, even if they get revenue the way EA gets now, it'll take about a decade to pay that off. Okay.
Sure. But that's assuming that the games that they make don't, aren't good.
Well, I mean, with soccer video games are extremely popular. I mean, I don't buy them yearly, but every year soccer games are a guaranteed sell now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening right now is the Prince of Saudi Arabia has said, okay, the Saudi Arabian soccer team is going into the next FIFA. Okay, Microsoft also got a lot of people angry. If anyone's been on X or even YouTube, you'd see all these people saying, I don't want to be subscribed to Game Pass anymore. Now, it's funny because as you were talking to me earlier, Albel, you were asking me, we were talking, I thought, and I'm wrong here, I thought that they would really be jacking up the prices on video streaming first, like Amazon Prime or Netflix, but I guess it looks like Microsoft is doing it for streamed cloud games. And either way, from an accounting perspective, it doesn't make financial sense to stay cheap on any of that.
Yeah, this has been such a hard right turn out of nowhere that I don't know what's going to happen at this point.
I mean, it's going back to the EA part. It's going to take the new owners years to get out of the debt they got, the $20 billion in debt they got from owning the game. I'm not kidding. But I can only see that the game development budgets are going to need to go down. Like, these games, they're putting them out there now for like as high as over 200 million for a lot of AAA games. Now, if you go back to 20 years ago, it was tens of millions were the expensive games.
Yeah,
I mean, Max Payne and Max Payne 2 were literally developed on about $10 million for each game. And the developers literally asked their family members to voice and be the visual reference for the characters in the game. Like, Sam Lake literally asked his mother and his father to be to voice and visually have photos of his parents to be the big bads and the villains in that game. That's how cheap he went. And that on top of Sam Lake using photographs of himself to be Max Payne in the first game anyways.
This is going to be very interesting next couple of years.
It will be. I mean, people keep saying too big to fail, but failure has multiple layers. No, go ahead.
I was just thinking like the because I related to the topic, we got my buddies and I had a discussion the other day, and we were talking about how everything has gotten like so bad in this country, not because the United States has remained a constitutional republic with a capitalist economy, but because that basis has shifted so far over to a socialist, communist sort of thing going on. You have the horrible corruption of the privatization of everything because all of the money is in government, and the
Right.
political nonsense has embedded itself in the economy so hard that like like this is why all of these Netflix shows, the movies, everything else all push this woke agenda crap. That's why like the Netflix getting canceled right now is such a huge thing, because they have so many overt, politics shoved down people's throats. Whereas if it was done the other way around, where people were becoming Christian, the left would be they'd be firebombing everything.
Right. And part
So
of it too is that they just give you a very weak, they give you a very weak story, and they coat it with icing, and the politics are at best the thin icing on the cake. But if your story on the inside is bad, the cake's bad. If you understand that analogy.
Yeah. It's the reason the conversation came up is because so many people are just so depressed about things, and I don't blame them, because it does feel like nothing's really going to get better. But I keep telling people, I keep arguing, like it's not progress if we go off in a trajectory making what perceives to be progress and then do that horseshoe turn back down into a regressive state, because that's what's going on, right?
Right.
And so what we need to do is we need to go backwards. We need to not regress, but reset what has been done in order to make things better. So it's not like
Oh, I understand what you're saying. It's similar to it's similar to how you have to clean clutter out of your house.
Exactly. It's like you don't just keep throwing things into the house and being like, my house is totally fine. No, if you have to have a designated footpath to travel, like that's not good, because that's not freedom. Clean things up, clean it out. In this case, the companies should go back to being private. They shouldn't, like, the fact that there are so many shareholders that have to be answered to, the fact that the common practice is, oh no, we're getting canceled online because we had a woman who's a well-endowed individual that's based on a real woman, in this case Stellar Blade. Now we have to cancel that game. But the only reason Stellar Blade got away with it is because it's a foreign company, and they
Korean.
like some bosom women. That's a good thing. Like, women shouldn't be degraded because a bunch of ugly dykes out here were like, she's too pretty. That's an unrealistic standard.
Or
she's
wine
literally
mothers.
real.
Wine mothers are part of that too, almost.
Yeah,
so.
that too. But it's like Eve, I think her name is, like, she's literally real. It's not impossible to maintain that body standard. It's that these people choose not to. So for that kind of influence to have such a tight grip around the nuts of this entire industry is wild to me. Because look, Injustice failed not only because not Injustice, Suicide Squad bombed spectacularly. Because of two things. First
and we're
off,
talking about the Suicide Squad game killed the Justice League.
Yeah, but also the movies suck. But the game sucks because it's poorly written. There's very little to do. It's incredibly linear. The game promised open
I heard
world.
a lot of it was wasted on cutscenes. Like a lot of the time you spent playing that game was just watching the cutscenes of the characters doing something.
Yeah, the story doesn't make any sense. The gameplay was mediocre at best. Like that's why, like it's not just the politics end; it's everything a part of it. No one likes these elements of this game. And then you have Avowed, and then there was uh Concord. There's been so many of these games that have all come out recently because they were in development for years because that's what the political end pushed for. And now that they're failing in waves, you're going to see a little bit of a continuation of games like this for only a couple more years because these are the ones currently in development. And the projects that are being started now are the ones that are going to be hopefully designed to rewrite the direction of this ship.
Yeah, and not only that, it's Microsoft right now is downsizing the number of games that are scheduled to new games that are scheduled to come for Xbox. And what could happen is Microsoft could become like Sega, where they don't really make consoles anymore. They just make games that get released on PC because it's cheaper to just do that. The only company that net profits right now for every console sold is Nintendo. They're the only ones. For Sony or for Microsoft, there's a net loss for every single Xbox or PlayStation console they sell individually. So they lean on getting an overall profit from the games. But at this point, with Microsoft scaling down the number of games they're releasing, it could be a problem or a burden for them to actually keep selling consoles.
And that's only because a lot of the costs and everything are being chipped away in order to boost their own numbers because the Japanese pinch pennies like heavily, like they're kind of infamous for doing so. I mean, Toho, for example, with Godzilla, it's like their budgets are dirt.
like 10 to 15 million, right? And that was crazy. They made a dumb dinosaur soldiers primitive war, and that was 7 million, like less than half of Godzilla. And it's like, how did they do that? What Primitive War was Western made, right? Like,
yeah, that was. It's based off of an American book series. There's like 3 or 4 books, and they only had a budget of like, I think it was like 10 million when I looked, because it was something that I noticed in the movie. I was like, man, this looks really cheap. Why does this, like, some of the effects still look kind of good in certain light? I went to look at the budget. It's actually less than it's less than the reported budget, I should say, for Godzilla -1, because -1 is supposed to have like 15 mil, but they say that they wish they had that. So it's like, I haven't seen an official number for it. People say it's closer to 10. So Primitive War was basically on par with it based off of what I've heard from everybody.
Yeah. So yeah, I heard a thing, Alex, about Dragon Prince. It might be something interesting. My current streaming service I'm subscribed to right now is Amazon. But later I might switch to Netflix if I have a catalog of things I might try. So yeah, Braymore, there's a lot of things in anime and Korean and Japanese and Chinese media to an extent about like warrior women in manga. A lot of those mangas are actually meant for a male audience, actually, like Battle Angel Alita or Ghost in the Shell. Those are actually intended for men to read as an audience. But yeah, and the other thing about a lot of these warrior women mangas is that these fighter women get beat up a lot. And I just don't see a lot of Western filmmakers wanting to show that. I mean, they did release something based off Battle Angel Alita, but in the manga, I mean, the only reason why she's alive is because she has a mechanical body. Otherwise, she would have been dead in like the first volume. That's it. But in these manga or anime where the woman is a fighter, the woman gets beat up. And I'm not sure how much Western filmmakers would want to actually accurately adapt that. I'm not kidding.
on that note, as a side note, I rewatched season 1 and 2 of Castlevania because I'm gonna redo season 1 for tomorrow because I'm going back through Castlevania throughout the month of October here. I actually really did not realize how bad the writing is in this series. Like the whole series just got worse for me. And in season 2, it actually kind of irked the crap out of me that Godbrand is the one that gets threatened and put in his place by Dracula, because Godbrand's like, we need to, like, we need a little bit more order to the war, and Dracula he's ready to rip him in half. But
Right.
Carmilla comes in and challenges Dracula about not having turned Lisa into a vampire in the first place, and like emasculates him in front of his entire war council. But she makes a joke about not sleeping with Godbrand, and he chuckles and laughs it off. Oh my dude, I like rolled my eyes in the back of my head. I couldn't believe it last night. I was like, no, why? So yeah, like the whole idea of women getting their asses beat in Western society in any manner in its current form is just it's not really allowed.
Right.
Which is shocking. Which is actually shocking because I watched Red Sonja because I'm looking to review that too. Dude, she gets pummeled. Like it's such a weird dichotomy or a duality that we exist in today, because like she actually gets impaled. Like she dies. Like if it wasn't for her getting magically healed at one point in the movie, it's over. Sonja dies.
Right. I'm just
Granted,
saying, like when people read manga like Battle Angel Alita or the actual manga for Black Lagoon, like Revi or Alita, they get beat up a lot. And apparently, and these things are directed in Japan or Korea to a male audience, and apparently the men over there are fine with the woman who takes a beating. Don't ask me, but I'm kind of in that way too.
Well, characters need to struggle. They need to. That's one of the reasons why everything kind of sucks, is that like the female characters getting away scot-free, it's not as believable. That was one of the complaints about what was it, season 3 of Stranger Things, where the girl and the guy are caught by the Russians, and the guy is the one that gets beaten, but she's totally fine.
Yeah, and do you know, Alex, that also was the beginning premise of Kill Bill. Because Beatrix, or the bride, gets she's pretty much borderline dead. Like she only survives because of the hospital, but otherwise they killed everyone at that wedding.
Yeah, the red wedding before the red wedding.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's funny because I actually watched the animated Battle Angel movie, but the actual 2019 Alita Battle Angel had Alita getting more beat up than the animated film did.
Yeah, it turns out I actually did watch the original or the anime movie, because I thought I remembered like a character gets turned into a robot and climbs up these pipes, these cables.
Hugo.
And I was like, man, why is this so familiar? This is like triggering my memory. What's going on? And then you get to that last scene where she's trying to save him, and I was like, oh, I've seen this anime before, but it's been like a decade.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny is that the original manga author didn't like the anime movie at all. And I'm not even surprised.
Oh, really?
Because given what the kind of the kind of beatdowns he gives Alita, where she gets her legs blown off, has someone just pull her arms off with brute force. This happens repeatedly in the manga.
Yeah, I don't remember anything about the anime. I just remember that climactic scene where he's trying to climb towards the city, and then the thing comes down and shreds him.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't want to get lost on this too far.
Sure.
But I mean, and I'm kind of one of those guys who likes a woman who gets beat up but still tries to get a rematch in. Anybody who gets it, I like. So, but that's it. We're done catching up on news. So, getting on topic. At least this is something we both played because we're going to be talking about Fallout, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about how this is the golden age of role-playing games because we finally had role-playing games that gave your character agency and you had a dynamic, changing world based on your character's decisions and the time as it passed by in the game. So we previously talked about Baldur's Gate and how it had the dynamic world, and today we're going to talk about Fallout and Beneath a Steel Sky. So before all that happened, they had the floppy disk game called Wasteland. Late 80s, you'd play it on your on your really old DOS PC. You'd stick the floppy disk in to play this.
Good times.
Yeah. So it's simple color, and I'm actually gonna bring up the old Wasteland and the good news is this is one of those game series that got brought back from the dead thanks to crowdfunding. So they got Wasteland 2 in 2013, Wasteland 3 in 2020. It's a little less far in the future than Fallout is. This is like the early 21st century, but you're a group of former of people related to the Army Rangers who survived in a bunker for a while. So
neat.
Thankful to our vast resources available online, you can find the Wasteland 1988. Not remastered, original.
Oh, they remastered it. Interesting.
Oh yeah, they had to because you're talking about really old PCs, so the resolution is like what 120.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean it alone. It's graphically incompatible with today's machines. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, I'm going to assume that his internet dropped for some possible reason. Oh, or no, coming back.
Yeah, my internet temporarily stopped, but I'm back.
Okay. Just to pull out a cane and tap shoes and start dancing.
Well, that'd be funny too. I would like that. So, here we are. Wasteland.
Welcome to Let's Play Wasteland. Wasteland is a game that came out in the 80s.
So to give a little credit, thank you, Papa Zito. I will put your channel name for providing us with footage for Wasteland in the description. Small channel like you were like us, so I feel you deserve some credit here.
I've basically been told there's some sort of disturbance out in the desert. Go find it. So I am starting a new game here. We're not getting a new location. So here's our little team. These are the default guys that you get. And they are all pre-vet. So we're actually going to take advantage of them having stuff. That's in Wasteland. ST is strength. IQ is IQ. OK is luck. SP is speed. AGL is agility. EX dexterity. CR is charisma. SPP are skill points.
Yeah, this is like old school RPG.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like Eye of the Beholder, that kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'd be glad if I could play Eye of the Beholder without my uncle's CD-ROM on a DOS machine, but I'll see about that. So I'm not going to stay too long. So that's about it for now. Yeah, so that was Wasteland, but the Wasteland was the type of precursor for Fallout, which came later. The main idea that you're part of this, paramilitary, as we'll call it, group that is trying to save old technology is the inspiration behind the Brotherhood of Steel. So Alex, I haven't played Detroit Become Human yet, but is it about your character making decisions, and the decisions have an effect on the status of the world around you? Because that's the main idea about role playing, is decision making as a character. So it could be. I'll look it up. It could be a future episode of Detroit Become Human. But the main part about this is that Brian Fargo is the producer at Interplay for Fallout. Now, the rights to publish Wasteland went into the hands of EA, but that was later bought by crowdfunding because EA wasn't going to make any more Wasteland games. But the people involved in the making of Fallout all played Wasteland. Almost all of them did, including the director, Timothy Kane, for Fallout. So Timothy Kane is the one person involved in the original Fallout that has a YouTube channel and has talked a bit about how he developed Fallout 1 from questions he's received in the comments. So he's there if you ever want to ask him or see what questions he has answers for on the making of Fallout and Steamworks or Steamworks. He can tell you. We can give you answers here on YouTube. So that's a good thing.
That is.
Yeah. He's still around. So treasure what you have when it comes to asking someone about how the game was made. So, and of course, going back to our previous episode where we talked about Star Control 2, Timothy Kane just talked about it right now. Star Control 2 was a major influence in making a dynamic, changing world, which you can see elements of in the original Fallout, because you go to Necropolis and you come back later to find the mutants killed everybody in Necropolis. That was one example of how they did it. They initially, although this wasn't the final cut for Fallout, is they had it so that the mutants, as the timer progressed, the mutants would destroy more and more settlements in Fallout 1. So at first, after a certain number of days, the mutants would destroy Junktown. After a certain number of days, they might destroy parts of the hub. And you have to fight in the hub to get the mutants out and so on. But they do, if you remember correctly, the mutants do run through Necropolis if you revisit it.
Yeah.
And kill the ghouls. So much for the Master saying he'd protect them, right?
Yeah, or the ending that I got where half the settlements got wiped out anyway, and it's like, what? How?
Yeah. So it was originally released on DOS and Windows on April 26th as a technical demo, which the person could play in one town or settlement in the game of Fallout. The full release was October 10th, 1997. Okay, so that does sound like a role-playing game. I'll take a look at it. An easier version of the game without the 500-day total time limit. So the way that time limit works is you had the time limit for the water chip, then you had the time limit for the mutants, where they would find your vault and kill everybody in there. So yeah, this was a case where the launch was they had multiple versions at launch. you don't have the original version with GOG.com. It's actually version 1.2, which was a CD version that GOG is preserving, but that's what you have for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Is there is I would assume the more updated versions are the better ones then?
Well, it changes things. So in the first one, you could accidentally or intentionally kill children. You have children walking around in some settlements, like you have children walking around in parts of Junktown, and there are children in parts of Shady Sands. Now, European Martins did not like that.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't see any kids.
No, because it's likely that your version, whether it's Steam or GOG, you're using the 1.2 version. Now, the 1.0 was only on CD-ROM, so you'd have to have the CD-ROM to play version 1.0. But for the European audiences, they didn't want to show small children being killed in the game, just adults.
Sure.
However, in version 1.0, if you do that, you become a wanted criminal. So now you have random encounters with bounty hunters that are going to kill you because you killed a child.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, it's horrible that you could kill children, but it's not as if there wasn't any consequences in version 1.0 if you did that.
Gotcha.
So someone out there might have the CD for version 1.0. I don't know. Someone might.
I'm sure someone's got it. I'm sure you could track it down somewhere on the internet.
Yeah. But that's about how it worked. Now, okay, so it sold 700,000 copies. As an exclusive for 1997 on a PC, that was actually good. For back in the 90s, the consoles were generally selling more copies per game, and then in the 2000s and the late 90s, you started having a shared market where games were released on both PC and console, and that allowed for a lot of games to, generally speaking, sell into the millions. So one example of a game that sold millions that had both a PC and a console release is the first Metal Gear Solid. So over 7 million. Others, were console exclusive, but that still sold a lot, such as Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, or Twilight Princess. But this whole shared market, so far, the developers like it. They sell more copies of the game that way. But 700,000 was good for a PC-only game in 1997. And it's also an R-rated game as well, because of how the violence, the character can get addicted to drugs, and your character can go have sex with prostitutes, all in that game. So just letting you know, for a game that's not open to children like Mario Brothers, it was good. It was a good sales for that.
Well, there's a lot of reason why it became one of the most popular Western franchises.
Right. And it was beneficial when they did. When Bethesda finally did it, the Bethesda Fallout games have also had a double sale for both the PC and consoles, and it sold a lot of copies. That what he did with Fallout 76, where he wasn't honest about how ready they were to release it, that would have been a disgrace. that goes against the original promise of quality that Nintendo, Sega, and Sony had as game publishers. Because we talked a long time ago about how there was a video game crash, and there just did not, for Atari and all these various consoles, most of these companies are either out of business or don't make consoles anymore.
Mm.
The quality was exactly the thing that helped Nintendo revive selling large amounts of video games. Nintendo made a promise as a company that they were going to sell a complete game. They were going to launch it as a full game, and the entire game is there for you to buy as an individual game. But now, starting with the 2010s, you've had this thing where you're being sold a game that isn't complete at launch often, and you're being sold a game that needs tons of patches. And I'm just going to say right now, one of the lesser evils right now is Nintendo, but it's even questionable how long that's going to last. I mean, I do get a full game for games that are Nintendo exclusive on the card. It's the third-party games that are not Nintendo exclusive that I have to get the key card, which I put it in and it downloads from the internet off the card, which is ridiculous. But again, Nintendo's probably going to have to get to a point where they're just using 128 gigabytes or more, given how games are today.
We had an idea. We were thinking about numbers and everything, and it would make there's no reason they couldn't have like because of how nice the games turn out with things like, say, Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is like 13.4 gigs on the Switch, and it's on that tiny little cartridge. We had my buddies and I were talking about how we could make a cartridge that's like 3 or 4 times the size, and have a game, and so we would still be able to sell like physical copies of video games, like an actual cartridge system. There is no reason we couldn't do it.
Oh no. In fact, there are cartridges now that have many games on the same one. And, I prefer that over the emulator consoles. You can go to Amazon because those are all internet downloads.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a cartridge that I can just play numerous games off of it. So I got my kids, after I fixed the Game Boy Advance SP, they have it so that they can just go put the cartridge in, and it has pretty much all the Game Boy Color Pokemon games on it. They'd like to play it at this point in their lives. And it has numerous Mario games that are all Game Boy Color on that same cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
But I can see a lot more of that happening. A lot of people don't mind that I'm playing games on live stream that are, not that new. Castlevania, Curse of Darkness. Thanks for suffering through watching me play that. That's going to be 20 years old on November 1st of this year. And I'll be making a video about, or at least videos that include mentioning Curse of Darkness soon enough.
Nice.
Yeah. But there are a lot of games that, even though they were made a long time ago, there's still appeal to them. Halo, for instance, the earlier Halo games. A lot of people are willing to buy the Master Chief Collection. And what is that? That's the Halo games up through Halo 4 remastered. People bought that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and didn't Halo or Microsoft just drop that game? Like they're not gonna
they're gonna remake Halo Combat Evolved again, which is silly.
Really?
Yes, they're gonna remake Combat Evolved again. But we had the Master Chief Collection in 2014. Like, why? Why remake the first one?
Yeah, why not just put the 5th game on the Master Chief Collection?
You could do that too. And I keep forgetting it didn't just have Halo 4. It also had Halo Reach on that same collection.
good Lord, why? Like, why do we keep doing this? Like, these are the kinds of practices that just drive me insane. It's like, there's no reason to remake Combat Evolved. It's already been made and remade. It's the same thing with Skyrim. Like, stop it.
I mean, you can buy Master Chief Collection on Steam right now. You can even buy the Xbox 360 version right now. Xbox One version right now. Why?
Like, if you're gonna do anything Halo related, like, do something new. How about
something
like,
that's not Halo, but just has some similarities, a successor, if you will.
anything, literally anything, like either continue the Halo Wars franchise and take a stand into the RTS world, since StarCraft is dead, and Warcraft's not going to get any big international games from the GSL.
Blizzard.
So just try and just take over. It's a vacant space.
And Diablo's a snail right now. With Diablo
no one cares about Diablo. Nobody.
And Diablo didn't even make it back into his own game of 4 yet.
Yeah. Because now it's Lilith, and it's like, okay.
Well, Mephisto's daughter, yeah, but then going on, there was Halo 2. So I need to get into we're going to go over Halo 2 a bit. So this is when Chris Avellone, who you have his picture in the center, took over as the writer, and he came back later for Fallout New Vegas.
Wow, I didn't know that Halo 2 was a top-down RPG like this.
Yeah, Fallout 2.
There we go.
I said Halo 2. Why?
Like, that's a radical shift in gameplay.
Yeah, no, we were lost in Halo. It's okay. But Chris Avellone, it was an early one for him. Yeah, and he came back. So this is where he got started, and they called him back for Fallout New Vegas. So he also wrote that one, and he had some writings for Fallout Van Buren, but they canceled that because the problems going on at Interplay. So they had some ventures, and some of them did not pay off. Planescape Torment was the worst sales for Interplay, but it's been a cult followed game over time, and I feel it's worth experimentally going with Planescape because it's your character's pretty customizable in Planescape Torment. So it didn't. Okay. It was one of those things that didn't do well, but they did end up putting parts of Van Buren into New Vegas. Fallout 2 is 80 years after the first Fallout game in Oregon, in Arroyo, Oregon. So, or at least what's left of Arroyo, Oregon after it all got blown up.
Mm-hmm. But
eventually you get called out of Arroyo because you need a way to clean up the water, and you need to have a terraforming device, a disposable terraforming device known as a GECK, or Garden of Eden Creation Kit, that vaults have. But you didn't because you got kicked out of the vault at the end, out of Vault 13 at the end of Fallout 1, so you didn't have any GECK with you. You had to just leave and presumably take people as a team from the ruined settlements in Fallout 1 in California. Mm-hmm. So you moved north. But in this one, in Fallout 2, the new part is that you can have a mutant who used to work for the Master as a team member. And you can also have other tribal groups, members of other tribals, and your character can get married. I never really cared for it during the events of the game because I was too busy with the quests in it. And this is where the faction called the Enclave first appears. It is arguably the best portrayal of the Enclave ever, where they are a case of a democracy is your enemy, which I thought was something great after they did the mutants in Fallout 1. So basically the Enclave, they have a president and a Congress, so the way they see themselves is we're the successor of the United States, and by our democracy and our votes, we should just kill everyone that is a mutant.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay because our president, our Congress, and all our little electorate that votes for it says it's okay. I mean, it's one of the best portrayals of democracy as the bad guy I've ever seen in a video game, or at least a portrayal of a constitutional republic as the villain that I've ever seen.
Yeah, considering the twisted world that it is.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you hear so much about democracy being good, or constitutional republics being good, but now you have a constitutional republic where their own people openly, by majority, vote and approve of them killing everyone in a massive extermination who isn't one of them. So I just don't feel like Fallout 2 would be made today. Well, maybe it would be, but
it probably would be, considering who the villain is.
Well, yeah.
And because the main villain is the Enclave, there's no like master equivalent, right?
No. I mean, the closest thing they have is Frank Corrigan, United States Secret Service. He's a mutant in a power armor suit.
Oh boy.
But he's based off the character played by Clint Eastwood in an actual good movie, good action thriller from 1993 called In the Line of Fire. So, In the Line of Fire, if you haven't seen it, it's worth taking a watch. It's Clint Eastwood and John Malkovich as a former Secret Service agent and a former military special forces guy fighting each other. One of them's trying to kill the president of the United States, and the other guy's trying to save him. And he's full of regret because he failed to stop Kennedy from getting sniped. The guy played by Clint Eastwood, anyways. So, In the Line of Fire, good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Okay.
But Chris Avallone did regret it. He felt he put too many jokes in Fallout 2. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So he kind of feels like he might be responsible for
the humor in later Fallout games.
Yeah.
He did a lot significantly less in New Vegas, and a lot of the jokes in New Vegas are optional. You have to have a perk to encounter them. So if you're in New Vegas, a lot of things like you find dead Indiana Jones in the fridge or aliens, so you can get the alien blaster from them. You have to have the Wild Wasteland perk or else it doesn't show up.
Gotcha.
But now that we're done with Fallout, we'll talk about Beneath a Steel Sky. Good news is, I'm going to get the video for that. Gameplay recording for Beneath a Steel Sky right here. So Revolution Software, developers from the UK, and this is
the old man was trying to tell the future.
Dave Gibbons, the comic book artist. As you can see his artwork right here, you see from Watchmen or DC Comics. Dave Gibbons' artwork right here.
Growing safe beneath a sky of steel, scheming in the dark, gathering strength, and now, now the evil spreads. It sends deadly feelers over the land above, across the gap, reaching towards this very place.
I'd seen him do it 100 times, but I humored him. After all, he'd been like a father to me.
So most of Beneath the Steel Sky is, point and click, but you grab inventory items, and there is a timer for how the world goes on in the game based on your decisions. But it has that surface of it being a point and click adventure game like Myst or it's another one. But the main idea is that the surface is destroyed except for these few cities that are high tech and isolated. So Beneath the Steel Sky goes into where Robert Foster, the character you're playing as, goes into one of these big cities that are walled off and isolated, and he's trying to figure out what's going on.
Whoever is in charge here, come forward. Now!
Only a fool would have argued with that firepower.
I am the leader of these people. We are peaceful.
Bring him here.
At once, Commander Reich.
We're looking for someone. Someone who doesn't belong here. Who wasn't born in this garbage dump. Who came from the city as a child. We want to take him home again.
Yes, they're talking about Robert Foster
where I'd
right
seen that
there.
symbol before.
Mhm.
It was the day the tribe found me. The day of the crash. The day my mother died.
You all right, city boy?
Got a name, son?
Robert.
Ah, welcome to the Gap, Robert.
As he patched me up, the old man had gently explained that there was no way back into the city, and I already knew there was nothing he could do for Mother. His tribe was poor, but they treated me like one of their own. I learned how to survive in the wasteland they called the Gap, and scavenging from the city dumps. As the years passed, I forgot my life in the city, discovered new talents. Ha!
I'm your friend. Call me Joey.
And got a second name.
This is what we'll call you. Now that you've come of age, son, we found you, fostered you, so that makes you Robert Foster.
Wasted enough time. Give us the runaway, or we'll shoot everyone. Starting with you, Granddad.
The old man had been right for once. It was me they wanted.
No, my son. Don't let the evil take you. Run!
DNA scan confirms it's him, sir. Evil had come to the Gap, just as he said.
Take him.
But had the old man seen why it wanted me, or what it would do next? It was too late to ask him now.
Leaving destruction zone, Commander Reich. Good. Detonate.
Much too late.
Oh.
Why are you murdering? Keep him quiet.
I'm going to go into the main gameplay here.
Just like
Not take too long.
Who's up there?
So right here, you have to avoid the guard seeing you because he can actually shoot you. But it's a little awkward because you have to click as to where you're going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to jump or where are you going to go? You're inside the mega city.
It plays an awful lot like Another World.
Police Quest, right?
He must have jumped. Fell all the way to ground level.
I mean, I didn't get to play Police Quest, but
Lucky as
how do you not notice him hanging on behind the door? Oh, that works.
Yeah, there's even a window.
So here you need to grab an item. Or wait, are you talking about Trader's Gate?
No. I said Another World.
Oh, Another World. Okay. But Trader's Gate is kind of similar. It's point and click, but you have to in Trader's Gate. You have to go and make sure you do things in the right order.
Mm-hmm.
Like
it's got no circuit board.
So it's the click and drag. It's a little odd for people who are used to past games.
Is this the best shell you could find?
Listen, we're in deep trouble.
You've turned me into a vacuum cleaner.
It's functional. Don't be ungrateful. Now, I don't know where we are, or why we were brought here, but I intend to get some answers.
I've got a weird reading from my scanner. We're 120 meters above the ground.
We've got to find a way down, and keep out of the way of security. Any human activity nearby?
How should I know?
Yeah, that's no problem. You can rewatch it.
Sensors are useless.
What tools does that shell have?
None of any use, unless you're into housework.
It makes me wonder how people came up with these old dialogue options.
And an extendable probe.
It's almost as if people making the old games actually had to have conversations.
Get lost, Foster. It's awful. Find me a new one.
and I know we're running out
What's
of
our present
time, but
location?
I'll do a little
does it
preview
matter?
about
We've had it.
Beyond the Steel Sky, which is the sequel.
What is this place?
It's not worth explaining. You're too thick.
About
It's
that
such a
temporary
cop
shell,
out
Joey.
dialogue line there.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, what is this place? You don't want to know about it. Like,
I'll
all
find
right.
you a new shell, I promise.
I should hope so.
Marv.
That would be right. Best to avoid him and his bully boys.
Yeah, so early on in the game, there's the guy named Reich.
What goes
He's
on in
part of a
here?
gang.
It's me work
Level.
There's an elevator out on the walkway.
And you have to get a
Cool,
part
you
for
can't reach
the
it right
elevator
now.
so you can get it working.
Why not?
To get up above.
Cause Reich's boys are guarding the exit from the plant.
So the game is actually set
How come your
in
elevator's not
Australia,
working?
like Mad
It's
Max.
activated
Only
automatically
most of
by the
Australia's wrecked,
transport
and
robot.
this and the
What did
city to the
security
west
want?
are the only real
After a
settlements with
saboteur.
the tech.
You seen anything
That
suspicious?
looks modern.
Only an overzealous security agent.
That would be right. Best to avoid him and his bully boys.
What goes on in here?
It's me workshop. Like it?
It's
So yeah, I'm sorry, we're
Very
running
impressive.
low on time,
a
but
symbol of
I'll do the last little bit and finish it up.
Sure.
Come on. There we go. So yeah, it's a lot of click and drag, but it's secretly at that click and point and click adventure. It's very much a decision making game.
Mhm.
That's why I consider it a role playing game. So there was a sequel, Beyond a Steel Sky, and we're just going to show the trailer real quick for that one. Beyond a Steel Sky. Here we go. And that should help.
Union City. I've been away so long. Now I was back. The city looked different. Beautiful. Peaceful.
Better graphics.
Happy.
I was
Sure.
hoping to meet you, Mr. Grundy.
My dear husband is back!
Is everyone feeling aspirational today?
But I was on the trail of a child, brutally abducted from his village.
Beware! Demons stalk the gap by night! What's happened, Foster? Where's my son?
And nothing in this city was what it seemed. Luckily, I wasn't alone for long.
It looks like they just changed everything. Did you say this is a sequel?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
So
okay.
Robert Foster, at the end of Beneath the Steel Sky, he escapes Union City, but he comes back because a kid was kidnapped into there, so he wants to find the kid. It's not quite as great of a plot as the first one, but you can get it on Steam, Apple Arcade, and GOG now. But it's a way to see things in a lot more detail, and it's a follow-up nonetheless. So I know it's at the end. I wanted this to be longer. I could bring back the topic of this later for more games, but this is going to be part of a 3-part for these through podcast episodes talking about the golden age of role-playing games. All the games we mentioned here are on GOG.com and Steam. GOG does actively preserve older game copies as part of developing new ports, so they keep copies in storage and preserved as part of their releasing games for today's machines. So supporting GOG is supporting an effort to preserve really old games, some of which are from companies that no longer exist. And what's great about GOG is they also give you the music album from the game, digital versions of the original game manuals, because some of these games you're kind of lost without the manual in the first place.
Oh yeah. A lot of games were like that.
So I'm recommending GOG.com, and that's pretty much it. So Favorite horror games and more mysteries of Castlevania is what's coming up next. And thank you, everyone, for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you same time, same channel, Thursday. And I'll be releasing the set of 3 games, 3 episodes about the golden age of role-playing games. So you get to see the whole set, the chapters, and it should be great. So thank you, everyone, for stopping by.
Yeah, you can check me out at my channel, Albelio. I've got a secondary for political commentary with Belmorian Herald, and a tertiary with Mech Warrior and Battletech at Belmorian Galaxy. And you can donate to me on Subscribestar now.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, Castlevania Season 1 Redux tomorrow.
Oh, I'll be looking forward to that one.
Because it's October, so I'm going through all of Castlevania until Halloween with Part 2 of Nocturne.
All right. I'll see you again. Same time, same channel, everyone. And check out, be on alert for Albelia's new video tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the ending of whatever happened to the game. And this is the 3-part for the volume for the Golden Age of role-playing games. We're going to continue it with the Silver Age of role-playing games going to the 2000s and 2010s. So hope you stay tuned for that next volume or catch the live streams. In the meantime, as I always say, until we meet again, farewell.